coming to you from the very first podcast that we're going to try and do. This will be available in the iTunes. Just search podcast on iTunes and search Fish Life, because we're going to call this podcast the Fish Life Podcast. Because when you bout that life, when fishing is life, then Fish Life is the podcast for you. It's the app for you. Soon to be the apparel for you. A little bit of everything. Chris, we got any comments coming in already?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, I'm showing them over here already.
Are you?
A few. Just saying hi. That's all right. Yours will catch up in a minute. I got my man Chris. You guys can't see him. He's working behind the scenes. Say hi to the people. There he is. My good buddy Chris right there helping us out on the podcast. And we're supposed to have a guest in this chair right here. The problem with that is he's not here on time. He's late, folks. He's late. But here's the deal. We want to do open up interaction with you. So what we want to tell you guys, you can ask questions here. Obviously, ask questions in the chat room on YouTube Live. You can also call or text us at 903-519-1542. So for any time over the next hour and a half, say 2 hours, if you want to be part of the show, you want to ask us a question, you got anything to add to the show, comments, concerns. I know you probably have some concerns about my crazy behind, but just call that number, 903-519-1542. Chris will speak with you briefly and then put you on the line with me and whoever we have for a guest. So, open for interaction as of now. This is going to be a little bit looser format than the normal stuff we do, guys. It's not going to be, we're going to kind of get a little loose with it, I guess you might say. We're going to have some comedic aspects to it. We're going to cut up a little bit, goof off. Normally I try really, really hard to keep all like the language clean and everything. I'm not going to promise you the language is always going to be perfect on this. This is free-form radio. Podcast is basically YouTube for radio, free-form. They don't take anything down. There's some crazy ones out there if you go looking. You can go down some serious rabbit holes when you go looking for podcasts if you look at the wrong ones. So we're not going to go there, but we are going to be a little bit looser, a little bit more relaxed format. It's really going to be about our passion for fishing, how much we love fishing, some of the crazy stories that when you spend 300 days a year on the water like I do and some of the other guys that'll come on here do, or you fished a bunch of tournaments, we run across some pretty wild stuff every once in a while. We're going to share some of those stories. We're going to relax and have a good time. Might drink a beer or two while we're talking to you. In fact, I've got an entire cooler right here. Let's go ahead and get this party started. Right, because it is Saturday night. Chris, is it Saturday night?
It is Saturday night.
It is Saturday night, and the mood is right for Keystone Light.
That's right.
And it's always smooth, folks. If you've never met Keith Stone, he's always smooth. So,
What kind of units?
are you showing any...
Yeah, I got them all.
Give me a question if you got a question. Let's go and start off with a question.
What kind of units do you run and why?
Electronics?
Yes.
Lowrance for ease of use. 100%. I prefer. So the question was, in case you didn't hear Chris in the background, what kind of electronic units do I use? I use Lowrance HDS carbons, and it's ease of use. They're just really easy. I'm familiar with Lowrance. I've used them for a long time. Really easy for me to make, function, and sing the way I want them to. Not knocking any other brands. Humminbird's got some really good things going on, but I am very comfortable with Lowrance, and that's what I use for that reason. Any more questions?
I think another one here. Should those fish still be in the creek channels and ditches tomorrow? Because I'm about to go grind out at Lake Arlington and figure it out.
Should the fish still be in creek channels and ditches tomorrow? Yes. So when you have a warming trend, once those fish move to the backs of these creeks, they're not leaving. They may suck back down into a drain or a ditch or something like that, but they're not going to leave, guys. They'll hunker down in those ditches. They get a little bit harder to catch, but they're still there to be had. Slow down. Jerkbait, trap, chatterbait. Get in those little deeper drains that are close to those areas that they pulled into on that warming trend. You'll catch them.
Here's a good one.
Go ahead.
Billy, what was your first bass boat?
My first bass boat was, well, I mean, I don't consider this a bass boat, but I had a plastic boat, a Pelican. Of course, fished out of different boats with my dad growing up, but the first one that I had that I ran was a 93 model Pro Gator, 16 foot 11 inch. I proudly call it a 17 footer back then, but 16 foot 11 inch 93 model Pro Gator with a Mercury Mariner 115 on it and a not very many pound thrust motor guide, but it had a Lowrance HDS 5, the first one. No downscan, just a map and a sonar. And I was thrilled, buddy.
Set up for big glide baits.
Okay, so set up for big glide baits. Set up to throw big glide baits. I'm going to throw, honestly, 6 cents doesn't make a rod that I would throw a big glide bait on yet. And I've actually talked to Casey about this. We're going to come out with one, and I'm going to actually have some input on how it's set up. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm looking for an 8-foot range, 7-10 to 8-foot rod. And I want it to be like heavy, like an extra heavy action with a moderate fast tip. Just a little bit of tip for that treble hook bait. That would be my ideal rod. As far as reel and line, man, you need a reel that has a high line capacity is the most important thing. I like a mid-gear ratio reel. And I like actually 25-pound monofilament line is the deal that I throw on big glide baits. That stretch of that mono helps a lot to absorb the stress of throwing a 4 and 5 ounce bait all day. I feel like it makes your knot last a lot longer and be a lot more durable. When you're throwing a big, expensive $100, $200 glide bait, you want to make sure you don't have any mistakes. Go ahead, bud. Next one.
Why were the fish so active on Tuesday?
Why were the fish so active on Tuesday? They were active on Tuesday. They were active on Wednesday. They were active on Thursday. They were active every day this week until Friday. It kind of slowed down a little bit on us. I think it was Friday. Maybe it was Thursday.
Friday.
Whenever that cold front came in, they slowed down a little bit, but they still didn't it still took another somewhere between 24 and 48 hours after that front hit for them to really slow down. The deal is the water temperature just didn't change that fast, but they were active because think about it like this. Fish are cold-blooded creatures. Their metabolism slows way, which it had been for a long time. So as that happens, they don't eat much. Well, when that water starts warming up, it kicks their metabolism back in, and they haven't really been eating much for a long period of time. So they go crazy. The warmest water is the shallowest water. All the bait piles back there, the bass go with them, and it's the first warm feeling water they felt in a long time. If it's been December and January, boy, that first day it hits 75 degrees, you walk outside and you feel good. You want to be outside, even if you don't got nothing to do. You want to be outside. Same thing with these fish. When that water first warms up, they get in that shallow, warm water, and man, they feel good and they get real active. And that's why you saw that feeding trigger. And hey, when this next warming trend comes, it's going to happen again. Like this happens every year. Any more questions? Guys, go ahead and call that number, 903-519-1542. Call or text, 903-519-1542. So, like we said, this is the Fish Life podcast, and we're going to be coming to you every single week. We're going to do these. And, man, it's just going to be real talk about real stories and real passion for fishing, and it's going to be real laid back, kind of informal atmosphere type deal. That's our goal for it anyway, with a little bit of comedic relief. We've got a special call coming all the way from Mexico later tonight, and that guy will dang sure provide some comedic relief. I can guarantee you that. Some of you maybe have heard me talk about this Fish Life app and don't quite know what it is, or maybe want to know what it is. It's the Fish Life app is an app that we've created. And Lyfe, Fish Life is spelled L-Y-F-E. We spell it with a Y. Why do we spell it like that? Because it's the best damn fishing app that's ever been created. But it's spots on lakes that I fish, and we've even got a couple other lakes on there that other guys fish that are full-time fishermen, where they're helping us, giving us information, and the stuff that I do on Lake Fork and these East Texas Power Plant lakes. These are the best, most current spots. We update them live. As things change on the water, if I see a change happen over a few days, we update the app. It's like real-time information. You just open that app up, and whatever it tells you, that's my best bet on where you need to be fishing today. It gives you lures, it gives you baits, it gives you kind of what that area is on these waypoints. Life app, and we never charge more than $1 per spot. That's the most we charge on any of our packages is $1 per spot. All the spots get a fresh update at least once a month, once every 30 days. It's an automatically renewed subscription-based app, so you get it, you've got access for 30 days. Well, you'll get charged again at the end of that 30-day period. You'll have another 30 days of access, and you can unsubscribe at any time. So if you just need it for a week, you come down here, use it for a week. At the end of that week, go ahead and delete it and unsubscribe to that package, and you won't get charged anymore. But we're going to be continue to expand that thing and build more and more and more and more, and just get more bodies of water on there. There's some big plans for some top secret stuff we can't talk about to add to the app going forward. So we've got it available on a web app version for all device types, including iPhones can use the web app. We've got Android specific in the Google Play Store. And the iPhone specific version in the iTunes store should finally be available here in the next few days. Actually, that should be released in the next couple days. Fingers crossed. Apple is a big pain in the butt to work with. Apple's out of control, bro. Like everything, like all the rumors that all the Republicans want to talk about, like the left wing and how crazy they are. Like Apple really is that. Like they are that. Apple's damn trying to be communist over the entire tech industry. It's unbelievable dealing with them.
There's a good comment.
You got anything else down there, bud?
Yeah, I got a good comment.
Good comment, all right.
What's the craziest thing you've seen at Fork? And I think I know the answer to this.
The craziest thing that I've seen at Fork? Oh, boy. We could go a bunch of different... There's some things that I can't even though we are going to get a little loose, we can't get all the way loose. You know what I'm saying? Like, Chris, I know you know what I'm saying. Because we've been there. We've been there together on Fork a bunch, me and you have. And I saw a 4-pounder and a 7-pounder get caught on the same glide bait at the same time. That was pretty crazy.
That's the direction I was going.
Man, I know there's some more crazier things than that. I've seen a guy hit a stump so hard that his engine, like, dang near kind of small explosion. Like, his engine caught on fire. It was crazy.
You got 12-2 jumping your boat. 12-2 jumping.
I saw a 13-year-old kid catch a 12-pound, 2-ounce fish. That was pretty crazy. I've seen a lot of crazy things, some of which I cannot talk about here. Probably some of the craziest stuff has to do with guide-on-guide violence, if you know what I mean, but we'll just leave it at that. Chris, you know what I'm saying. Well, we'll leave it right there. We won't say nothing else. So, any more questions or comments on there, bud?
Here's one. It says, have you ever went under the road culvert at Case Lake? I believe it is called on Lake Fork. The reason I asked is because that's where my PB came from.
Case Lake?
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard it called that. I mean, I know some road culverts. One of the big ones that a lot of people like to sneak under is the back of Board Tree. You know, when the lake's at the right level, you can get through there, but you got to like drop your poles down and take your cowling off your motor to slide under it and like lay on your boat deck like this right here and just pull your boat under. You know what I'm saying?
We've done this.
Yes. You know how I know what you got to do to do it? Because I've done it. I don't know which one Case Lake is. I wish I knew which one that was. If you could tell me what creek arm it's in, that would help me some. But yeah, that Board Tree one, that's the most notorious one I know. And there is some good fish back there a lot of the time.
Favorite worm for shaky head in clear water?
Shaky head in clear water. Well, there's a new one that's a prototype that there's been a lot of work gone into that I got my hands on last year. Just a few samples of them that I've already burnt through them real quick. It's not on the market yet, though. It will be my favorite once it's here. It's a finesse worm. Shaky head, like real finesse type shaky, like an 1/8 ounce shaky head in clear water. We're talking about that type of stuff. Probably a Robo fat worm. Robo hand pour fat worms, probably. That's probably the one I'm going to go with more than anything else. Man, there's some good questions tonight. This is like, I didn't really want to make this like an instructional advice deal, but hey, whatever the viewers want, we're going to give them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you described the spot he was talking about, the back of Board Tree.
Oh, did I? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So he was talking about Board Tree? Okay.
Said, yeah, that's the spot.
Well, from now on, folks, we're going to call it Case Lake. Like, I don't know if that's what it is, but that's what we're going to call it. It's now Case Lake. Who was it that asked about that? What's the screen name there?
Jonathan Case.
Jonathan Case. I wonder why it's called Case Lake.
I don't have a clue.
Well, it's called Case Lake official now, buddy. That's the new name for it. Back here in the back of Board Tree, you know, old Case Lake back here. We called them back in the day, you know what I mean? Like me and old Ray Earl, we got back there and threw that frog out there, and they just jumped all over it. We couldn't even keep them off it. Heck, we tied it down on the dang deck of the boat, got ready to move. One jumped in there and bit the thing, dragged the whole pole in the water. You know what I'm saying? Something like that? Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. We're going to probably wrap up the live preview of the new podcast. We appreciate you guys joining us on the live stream. Hey, if you got more questions, if you want to call into the show, you want to be a part of the show, talk to us live while we're recording here for this podcast. It's going to go out hopefully Tuesday evening is when this will be live on iTunes. We're also going to post it on the YouTube channel. Call in to 903-519-1542. Call or text, and you guys can be a part of the show. Join in, talk a little trash with us for a little bit or whatever y'all want to do. 903-519-1542. live stream. Appreciate you joining in. You guys are the best audience a man could ever hope for. We'll see all y'all next time. You guys hold on. We're still with y'all. Well, it's better late than never, folks. We left the live stream part of the show. Had to wait a few minutes. Now we got this guy. For those that don't know, folks at home, it's been a long time. He shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to. But this is Mr. Austin Fowler of Lake Fork Lore.
Lore?
Yeah, second generation guy he used to be.
Retired.
He's a retired guy. You're like retired 22, dude.
I'm 24 now.
He's 24.
I am so old.
He's so old, folks. He's 24 years old. Now, your dad, Skeeter Fowler, was a guide for a long time out there. You guided for a little while out there, but then you moved on to a different job. Went ahead and stepped out and got one of them regular person jobs.
Got a real job.
He makes a lot more money than I do, that's for sure. We can just go ahead and say that. But anyways, Austin's here. Austin's going to help me. We're going to talk a little bit of fishing. We're going to tell some fishing stories. Probably going to be a little bit of exaggeration going on. And one thing that's mandatory here at the Fish Life Podcast. Chris, you need one of these?
I do.
Oh, Chris.
We shotgun it. We were in college.
You can shotgun it. You can go ahead and shotgun it because you're 24.
Yeah.
Let me go and tell you something about what's coming up.
Been a few years since you shotgun one.
Let me go and tell you something about what's coming up in the next era of your life there, Mr. Fowler. Ooh, look how frosty it is.
It's like I am in college. I'm drinking the cheap crap.
Well, I am a fishing guide, bro. I ain't got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Hangovers hurt a lot worse than 30.
Hey, here's the fishing and give friends.
Fish
Thanks,
it.
guys.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So, well, kind of talked about the app. I didn't tell you guys earlier, so I told you about the app, but the links for it are always going to be linked in our description. So the Fish Life app, check the link that pertains to the device you want to use. Click that, get more information on the Fish Life app. Now, one of the stories that I wanted to tell, and you're just going to have to kind of sit through this one. You may or may not have heard this one before. We've spent a lot of time on the boat. You probably have, because we've talked through a lot of things over the years. But talk about how this YouTube channel actually began. I don't know. Do you know this story?
I don't know this story.
How I started filming YouTube videos. Why it happened. And actually, the reason why it happened, stick your head out here so the folks can see you. Wave to them. Mr. Chris right here, my lovely assistant on the ones and twos behind the scenes over here, as they might say.
Scratching and turning.
He's actually the reason that this YouTube channel started. And Chris, we used to work together when I used to sell this lovely nectar here, along with other fine barley and hop brewed products.
Thank you for your contribution to society.
Yeah.
That's what we'll call it.
That's it. I did definitely contribute to society. Well, I helped people forget about their contribution to society is what I did. But anyway, so me and Chris, we fished a lot together, and I was doing both jobs. You remember these days. I was guiding, and I was working at the beer company, and I was kind of doing both. And man, I was fishing a lot, and I was on some good fish, and me and Chris were going out a lot, and he would take some paid trips with me when he had to. And then when I wasn't booked, I just let him go for free because we're like, best buddies. But anyway, we were out one fall, and we were kind of on this big swim bait bite. And, man, took me a long time to figure out that glide bait deal. Like, I owned glide baits for a long time before I ever caught a fish on them. I think everybody does a little bit. But
you just put in your trophy case and just look at him like, I'm going to catch a fish on that one day.
That's exactly what
it's
you
just
do.
for looks.
That's exactly what you do with a glide bait. Yes, very much. So I finally was starting to get some bites, and I told Chris about it, and he came out. And the first time he came out, and man, we had got really good in the late evening. I threw this thing up there on the flat and got a bite from a big one, and then he got a bite from another big one, and he was kind of like, his mind was kind of blown because it was just like every time he set the hook, it was a big, big fish. Then the next week he comes out with me, and we fished that weekend, and the last day we fished there, that evening, right at the end, like we ended the trip on this cast. So I make this long cast, and I throw this bait out there and do the old glide bait crawl like this here, and I go pop, pop.
Was it the first last cast or like the 10th last cast?
No, this was like, we didn't know it was going to be the last cast, but once this happened, it was like this. Drop the mic. I mean, you dropped the mic on this one. So I'll make this long cast. I got the glide bait crawl going. I give it that old pop, pop, that little twitch that you do, makes that thing dance, and man, one just slaps it. And I'm horsing him, like you do on that big swim bait setup. And he comes up, and it's about a 7-pounder. And you know how them big fish are, they just kind of do this. They don't really jump. They just
Where the head just gets comes
just
out
the
of
head,
yeah,
and I'm horsing him too on that swim bait rod. And so he comes out doing that, and while he's doing that, a 4-pounder comes out of the water, crashes into his head, gets the other hook on the glide bait,
Oh, man.
and now I've got both of them, dude. And I'm reeling it, and he slides the net under, the 7-pounder falls off in the net. I still to this day have a picture of the 7-pounder and the 4-pounder laying in the net with a glide bait at the same time. And so it was just a crazy fish catch, probably the craziest fish catch.
It sounds like a crazy fish story.
But it's Chris.
You said there's a little bit of exaggeration. Oh, we have a picture.
There is the picture. There's
Oh,
the
it's a
7-pounder and a
screensaver.
4-pounder. It's the backdrop on my old phone. Yeah, there's the glide bait hanging out of the
What
4-pounder's
is that
mouth.
glide bait?
That's the old Flow Glider 140 that they don't even sell anymore. Yep. So caught a 7-pounder and a 4-pounder at the same time on a glide bait. That was it was right at duskish time. So we're just like, well, we're not gonna do no better than that. We went home and probably drank some Keystone Light, honestly, or maybe Coors Light that day because it was a big special occasion.
That's
you know.
special.
Yeah, special occasion. But the very next week, Chris is like, I'm coming again. I don't care. I'm paying for the trip. I'm coming next week. And so we show up the next week, and he's got an old original GoPro Hero Plus. And he goes, here, I'm giving this to you. You have to start recording this crazy shit that's going on.
So people like me would believe that and you get it on video?
Exactly. And of course, that was the week that the major cold front blew in and the swim bait bite kind of faded. But we started recording and made it just a few videos that first probably 8 or 9 months I had it. I just made a few highlight videos and how-tos, nothing. If you go back and look at some of the oldest videos on the channel, you'll see them. They're still there.
How long ago was that?
That was right at 3 years ago now. Right at almost exactly 3 years ago now.
I'm getting old, man.
And then that following fall, I kind of did some research on YouTube video function and how to advertise a business, and so I started doing weekly content. And but yeah, him giving me that GoPro because of that crazy fish catch is the only reason any of this YouTube channel deal happened.
So is he part owner of your business?
He should be.
He should be.
He should
Gets
be.
a cut of everything.
He should be 50-50, dog. It's all his fault, man. Because what it does, and this is
so your wife probably hates him. For starting all this.
Starting all the fires. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that's what's cool about social media. Is social media's got a lot of negatives and downfalls to it. And there's a lot of stuff out there that probably shouldn't be out there, and it can be used for the wrong things, like anything else. But the cool part about social media is it took me, a guy that I was really, really, really passionate about fishing. And you know this about me. I'll do it even when I'm not paid. I'll do it all the time. I love it, and I was able to take that love, and maybe I have a little skill at it. I think hopefully I do because I get paid to do it. But it took something that I was really passionate about. I was able to just go out and kind of document it, put that out there from week to week, and then let the customer base be the judge. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I got going on. It's real. There's nothing fake on there. There's no fake fish catches or nothing like that. It's all real, and it's pretty obvious that it's real the way it's documented on there.
Well, and that's something I like about your channel versus other channels too, is that you show good and bad days. It don't matter what happens.
We've had a bad day on camera together.
Yes,
me and you have.
Yes,
Roping bass with a wacky worm. Crazy stuff. Yeah. But yeah, and that's
that day sucked.
Yeah, that did suck really bad.
It was so cold that day.
It was.
Hey, it came on my memories, on my Facebook memories. It was a year ago, 2 weeks ago. I caught
when you caught the 8-pounder. That was a different day now.
Oh, that was different.
I don't consider any day with an 8-pounder a bad day, and you caught an 8-pounder right off the bat that day.
And the rest of the day kind of.
Yeah, the rest of the day did kind of suck. We caught a few fish, and that was it. But the other one that we filmed in the fall period or something, where I was catching all those things like this on a wacky worm, and I roped one. Remember that?
Yeah, we watched this.
Yeah. That was real too.
I know.
That's something
that. And that's something you wouldn't believe unless you had it on video, and we did.
So, and we'll tell that story next, but I want to get this out. So the good deal about social media is I was able to document it, put it out there, let the consumer base that's looking for fishing guides be the judge, and thankfully for all of you guys out there that do book trips with me that watch the channel, it worked tremendously. And I've got a great guide business. I'm really fully booked, and it's an awesome. It's been an awesome experience. It's worked really well.
You've definitely felt very blessed. And I want you to elaborate too on at what point did you know that you had to quit your real job?
Yeah.
You were doing 2 jobs at once.
I was.
Because I remember the day that I met you. I knew who you were, but the day that we really became friends, we were fishing that pocket together, and your client caught that 1035.
That was my first day.
That's the first day we actually had a conversation, and we had respect for each other as guys, and we're sharing that pocket.
Yeah.
We've been sharing it for all week. And then all of a sudden, I see your client catch that fish, and that was the first day as a full-time guy when you quit your job?
Yeah, I'd worked my last day at the old beer distributorship the day before that. That was Friday. I worked my last day on Friday, and then Saturday, that was that Saturday morning. So when I knew that I needed to quit my job was, so leading up to that spring.
Because people that don't know, and like I experienced it too, is, you know, when I quit guiding, you know, I had to think about everything like that. I mean, you had benefits, you had a steady income salary, and everything like that.
I mean, people are always going to drink beer.
Yes, so obviously, but I'm saying like that's a big jump for your family. And obviously, it's paid off. As far as I know, I think so.
Yeah, it's paid off really well. You know, I actually have been able to generate some off-the-water revenue, and everything's been great. Like I know, I'm not trying to be the brag on Bill, but yeah, no. So what I knew was. You know, as I started, like that fall, the next fall or whatever, I started doing all those videos like every single week, multiple videos a week, doing instructional and on the water stuff. Like, just started doing a lot of content on YouTube. Well, that was in like October when I started doing that. In November and December is when I really started doing the multi-video a week deal. Well, by the time January came around, I was getting a lot of calls, and I was like, yeah, but man, I'm just not sure. And so I didn't do it. I just stayed with the 2-job deal. And then January, February, March, April going. By the time I got to April, I had given away or passed up 60-something trips that I just turned away because I couldn't take them. Like my part-time schedule was full all the way through the summer at this point. And so I just, you know, I would have liked to have gone full-time kind of leading into spring to get that
You ran out of sick days at work to call in.
That may or may not be part of it. I may have had some, you know, work performance suffrage going on, you might say. Yeah, I mean, no, it did get to a point where it was just too much. I couldn't do both all the time. And I'd passed up so many trips, so I was just like, man, if I'm going to do it, now's the time. Like, it's never going to get any hotter than this. And I didn't think it was, but I was wrong. But
and that was in May, right?
May was when I quit I left, which I told them kind of a month in advance, gave them some time. They asked me to stay till a certain point in May to kind of, because that company was great. The company I worked for, man, they are phenomenal. As far as, you know, giving myself and my family really good, fair opportunities to move the ladder. Things went really well. I got a lot of promotions while I was there. Like, it was an awesome company to work for. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't an easy job. Like any other job, I wanted to choke my bosses out half the time, but the opportunity they provided for my family, the opportunity they provided for me and my family, I will always be grateful for. And so I wanted to show them that respect and, you know, give them plenty of notice and kind of what my plans were. And they kind of saw some of the writing coming on the wall because there was so much social media stuff going on. Yeah, that's kind of how.
And that was in May, so even starting full time in May, coming into the summer months, you know, fall and winter. I mean, obviously you just missed out on the busy. From, you know, normally is the best fishing time in the spring.
That's right.
Busiest time of the year.
Yeah.
And so that was even a bigger leap too, is that you started full time in the summer months when you wouldn't be as busy, or you wouldn't think you would be as busy in summer as you would.
You wouldn't think.
You wouldn't exactly. You wouldn't think, but.
But I ran 17 guide trips in a row when I started, and I finally said, okay, I got to take a day off. I was like, so I took a day off and then ran. You know, I literally booked every day that first summer that I wanted to fish. And I think, and this is, you know, not me going like this is me going like this to all of those people, because they're the ones that do this, not me. And, I don't know that I had any days last year that I wanted to guide that I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I had scheduled days off. I had a couple weeks off at the end of summer to hang out with my family and stuff like that. So I didn't guide every single day. But, like, every day that I planned on running a guide trip, that I wanted to run a guide trip, I think I filled it all the way up. That's crazy. Awesome. Like, that's unheard of. That doesn't happen. Yeah. So you guys are the best, man. Y'all are awesome.
For the record, I was trying to push him out the door in January.
He was.
To be full-time?
He was telling me to do it. I was like, man, God dang, I don't know. It's a scary deal.
It is scary.
I've got 2 young kids and everything, so it's, you know, it's a real thing. Guys, going forward, man, if y'all want to call into the show, we'll be doing these every Saturday night. We'll be starting the first 10 to 15 minutes live, but anytime that you want to call into the show, you can at 903-519-15. Excuse me, beer burp. 1542 903-519-1542. Call in, text in. You can get on the show live, talk to us live, ask your questions, comments. Tell me that I'm full of it or that I suck.
Tell me if your story's full of crap. Picture it didn't happen. I mean, there is a pic.
There is a pic.
I don't know how
that could be staged. That could be staged. So yeah, if you guys want to join the show on Saturday nights between 7 and 9 p.m., give us a shout anytime. Okay, there's YouTube beginnings. That's the first topic of the night. That was a good one, right?
That was only the first topic?
That's only the first
It's
topic.
gonna be good night.
It's gonna be a long. We're gonna drink a lot of beer. That's what we're gonna do.
How much you got over there?
I got enough. But we may have to wheelbarrow you next door. He lives next door to me now, folks. This
Which is
my
very
neighbor.
dangerous, by the way.
Yes. That could get out of control. I'm gonna call your mama on you if you get out of line. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah. It was funny because I told my now she's my fiance. Lord bless me. So I told her
she's dumb. She's real dumb. Go ahead.
She already don't like you. She don't like you because one, you're a bad influence, and we go fishing all the time, hang out too much. Well, she likes you, really.
Oh,
But
man,
anyway,
I'm gonna be like, what?
no, she seriously does like you. But
That's great.
So I told her we were gonna be neighbors, and she was like, "Oh crap, you're never gonna see me again." Blah blah. It's a dangerous combo. But it's pretty funny.
Yep, we're neighbors now, folks. All right, crazy tournament stories. You got any of those?
Oh, I should be thinking about that.
You got any crazy tournament stories?
I'm sure I do. Folks that don't know me, I fished in college.
You fished the college
I fished the college
Carhartt Trail or whatever it was?
the Carhartt Bassmaster Trail. So
Yeah.
For BASS, I fished a trail in FLW, and Cabela's had one. So there's 3 different tournament trails.
Fished all of them in college?
Oh yeah, I mean, and school didn't pay for none of it, so that was very expensive.
That was awesome.
Yep.
Way to go, SFA. SFA all the way.
Man, you really aren't my.
Oh, wait a minute. TSU.
God, this guy.
Well, they're both purple.
No.
Why any self-respecting like man chooses a school that's purple? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So was it Tarleton State? Is that what it
that
was?
college degree has kind of got me my job now.
Yeah, my not college degree's got me.
Even though I did get for a year with a college degree because it didn't do me
you were
crap.
the smartest guy on the lake, Jack.
Oh yeah. Yeah, smartest guy.
That ain't saying, but you were the smartest guy on the lake with your college degree.
It's kind of like being the tallest midget in the
That's
room.
it. That's it.
Tallest midget. You're still a midget, but you're the tallest.
Yeah. Boy. All right. Crazy tournament stories. You got any for us or no? You need me to go with one?
Go,
so you can
yeah,
take?
go with
Okay.
one. I'll think about it.
All right, so I've got one that's kind of crazy. It's not like too crazy, but it's a Lake Fork one. And what it is, a buddy of mine that I used to fish with a little bit here and there, long time ago. And I didn't see him for years. Like, he kind of left and started working, way up in the northern part of the country. And I just ran into him like last week, and it reminded me of this crazy tournament day we had on Lake Fork. We headed out one morning, and we're just fishing a little open jackpot, like a do-nothing tournament, nothing major. But we head out, and I'm in his boat, and it's the first time I've ever been in his boat. We've just always kind of fished in my boat. So we're in his boat, and he takes off, and we're headed down the boat lane, and he said, "Man, we're going to run down here to Williams Creek." So we run down there to Williams Creek, and he's going, like, he's getting 60-something miles an hour. He's moving pretty good, and he turns in. If you know that boat lane going into Williams Creek's got that S-curve.
Yep.
Well, back then, there was a bunch of trees sticking out of the water on both sides of that S-curve. Remember that?
Was it low?
No, just back then, the boat arc trees were all the way up out of the water. Some of them done fallen into the water now over the years, but this is years ago. Well, he made that first turn all right, and he was getting it. He never slowed down a bit going in this curve. Well, he went to slide around that next turn, and he kind of power slid out wide on that turn a little bit, and he got pretty close to some of them boat arc trees. And he looks over his shoulder, and he's looking at them boat arc trees, and then when he looks forward, for those that don't know, on Lake Fork, there's buoy markers in the middle of the boat lane.
And you better, especially in woods, you better hug him.
Yeah, and there's buoy markers. So as he power slides around this corner, checks that tree behind him, when he turns around, buddy, he's squared up on this buoy. And when I say squared up, I'm talking about like, if you drew a black line down the middle, that's where the nose of his boat was fixing to hit. And 60 miles an hour, like plus. And he hits his buoy marker so hard that it folds over and hits his trolling motor prop, like the blade on his trolling motor, and breaks off one of the ears on the prop, and it goes whipping by my ear.
Oh.
Like I saw my life flash before my eyes, like crazy stuff. And so the entire day we're fishing, he ain't got a spare prop in the boat for his trolling motor. So we get back here, so not bad enough I just died. Now I'm fishing in a boat that all day the trolling motor's going boom, 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 with one blade on the trolling motor. Every time he hits it, it makes so much noise. It was so bad. And we weren't catching nothing. I'm like, oh God. So we pulled out there to Dale Ridge, and we get set up. And it was a little low back then because you could see some land on Dale Ridge. And it was Dale Island at that point. And we were throwing up shallow in some bushes with some swim baits. And, man, we caught a couple big ones. And this was a deal where you could count all your slot fish. Like it was an inches measured fish tournament. And so we catch a couple big ones off Dale Ridge. And all of a sudden, there's a storm that we knew was coming, but it's like getting there. And man, I make this long cast that I was swim bait. I would pick my rod up a little bit, my rod goes click, 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 click. Well, if you know anything about fishing next to a storm, when your rod starts clicking when you lift it, that means you're fixing to get hit by lightning.
That means you better get out of there.
And so I immediately said, ooh, and I picked it back up and it goes click, 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 click. And I reeled my bait in real quick. And I said, dude, we got to go. He's like, no, we can't go, man. We're catching fish. And I'm like, Jack, we got to go. So finally, after about 5 minutes, I talked to this guy. Like, I've got my rods in the bottom. I'm sitting down the seat pouting like a little baby. Like, I'm like, we need to leave right now. I'm whining, stomping my feet in the bottom of the boat so he don't catch nothing, you know. And finally, I talked to him, and we leave. Like, literally, as we're leaving, lightning's hitting Dale Ridge as we're pulling away from it. Like, that's how close it was.
So you almost got struck by lightning.
Almost got hit in the head by a prop.
Almost got your head chopped off.
Finally, at the end of the day, we pulled into a pocket that I'd been begging him to go into. We pull in there, and we catch some fish flipping. And we ended up getting second place in the tournament and cutting a check. But, yeah, I almost died twice.
Just to win $100.
Yeah, basically, it's about $100 is what we won. Yeah.
That's split between the two of y'all, so you won for $50.
Yeah. I drank it all that night, I can promise you. Because I was stressed out, buddy. Alright, you got any crazy ones?
You want to play the lottery or want more money or something. So you reminded me of one when you were talking about skidding across that buoy. Well, in college, fishing the Chaffalay Basin down in Cajun country.
I mean, swamp land.
Swamp people is literally filmed here, and hoping to have no Cajuns, but I mean you can't understand when they talk down there. I mean,
it's okay. They know we can't understand them. They like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
We talk about coon asses. Nobody care.
Although we did have some crawfish down there, pretty freaking amazing. Yes, I mean, amazing. I don't know what they do different than what we do. I don't know if it's something happens on road trips here and there, but anyway, don't get started. So anyway, we're pre-fishing Chaffalay Basin. We're there all week, and we get on some fish and feeling pretty confident. You know, Chaffalay Basin, you know, 3-pounder is a huge fish down there. And so we get on some fish, and then the day before tournament, that last practice day, a tornado comes and all that. You know how all that crap goes. They had tornadoes there, and it pours down rain, and so we don't get fish the last day. So anyway, so the tournament morning starts, and we go to our first spot, and it literally rose like 6 foot. I mean, they got so much rain. That's probably exaggerating. But anyway, so it's so muddy in there, and like we were so pissed off and everything like that. So we start running around taking our head cut off, and we're going from spot to spot, fishing spots we ain't fished, blah, blah, blah. Well, folks ain't been in the chat. You got me saying folks now. I never said the word folks before.
Is that me?
Yes, you got me saying that. Anyway,
folks.
So if you've never been to Chaffalay Basin, there's all these canals and bayous.
Is there some folks down there?
There's some folks down there. There's some Cajun folks down there. So we're going all these canals, everything like that. Well, so we're scrambling around. I mean, everything we thought we were good on, it's all washed out, and it is chocolate milk, and so we don't.
And this can happen in a bayou swamp. It can change so fast.
Yes, and so you know we're still scrambling around trying to find some clean water. So we look on the map on the GPS, and we point out like we want to go here, but it's a left turn, it's a right turn, it's a left turn, go straight, go backward, and all that. So anyway, so we started heading.
Sounds just like Occasion gave you them directions, by the way, just for the record.
So anyway, so I start trying to head down there, and then my buddy, my fishing partner, I pass this canal up, and he's like, "Oh, turn here, turn real quick." Well, if you ain't been down there, there's crawfish traps in the middle of those canal bayous.
Oh yeah.
And they got flags on them.
Yeah.
And everything. And so like
it's like the Falcon tilapia nets I got hung in.
And so I'm literally passing it, and so like instead of me stopping, like turn around the island back, you know, to get in the middle of that canal to miss that crawfish trap, I literally said F it. And I turned over there just because I'm so pissed off already for the whole day. The whole day's ruined. I said F it, and that was the famous last word. I hit that crawfish trap going about 60 miles an hour.
No.
And it smacks it and just stops me dead in my tracks.
Yeah, that'll put you in a bind, son.
And then my heart dropped, and I was like, I don't even want to look at it. And you know, we're not even talking. And so we finally pull up some land, and I raise the motor all the way up to see the damage. And it's so like right there where your lower unit where your intake is, it's supposed to be a V. It was literally flat. It was literally flat.
You just sledgehammered the front of your lower unit.
I smoked it. I didn't eat crawfish for like a month after that. I was so mad. It's crawfish.
That's how I am. My kids aren't allowed to eat apples anymore because Apple's a bunch of douchebags. Like the Apple people that I deal with on my app, their kids can't eat apples anymore.
And so like I was scared to even like start it up and like even try to run it, and it ran perfectly fine. You know, it was like F it. You know, we gotta finish this day out, and so we ended up catching 6 or 7 pounds or something like that.
Yeah.
But and, like, you think that sucks, but like we were still in the hunt.
Sometimes.
And so
man,
we were
you
still in
never
the
know.
hunt, and because it was a tough day and everything like that. And so then on the way home, on the way back after the first day, buddy of mine pulls the boat up. I'm in the truck, which before that I lost my keys in my truck, and luckily I had a spare set in there. It had a code in there. Different story. So anyway, so instead of him raising that motor all the way up, when we loaded on the trailer, he starts dragging the concrete boat ramp with my flat lower unit. So screws that all up. And so anyway, so second day we go and we sucked it up. So we sucked it up, and like I ain't point in telling that story. And so then I let a buddy of mine borrow it. The third day he qualified for third day, and he blew his motor up. So he's fishing the final day. You know, he's got to be in top 10 qualify for championship. So I take his boat home. We go home. He borrows my boat, and then he screws something up on it. He freaking didn't raise it up either when coming out of the boat ramp, and still drug it across the freaking boat ramp. Had 2 guys do it. I mean, we came out of that, then on the way home, after all that crap, the transom saver, you know how the roads are in Louisiana, they're real bumpy, and so the transom saver is like bouncing on the hydraulic, the seal, and leaks out hydraulic fluid. And so now I don't have any hydraulic fluid to raise the motor up or anything like that. I do it manually. I'm gonna do that screw and then pick it up. And so came out of that tournament like $5,000 in damage.
That's not like a crazy tournament story to me. That is a depressing tournament story.
That's
awful.
That I'm just like sad.
Hmm.
Like I be honest with you, I quit listening 10 minutes ago because that shit was getting me down. And I try to keep my mood up on a Saturday night. Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's awful.
It's like somebody's grandma died or something. Or dog.
CB, you got any crazy tournament stories?
I actually do, but it's kind of the same direction as his.
Oh God, some other gear got torn up? All right.
Well, you remember when I cracked my transom in the Monday night tournament?
I do remember this. I remember you telling me about this. I do remember this, yes.
So
Go ahead.
I was fishing a Monday night tournament with my girlfriend at the time on Lake Palestine.
Shout out to old Katie Lynn. We hope the best for you, young lady.
And I'm going to be honest with you, the only reason she was fishing said tournament with me is so I wouldn't get griped at for fishing said tournament.
That's a smart move.
Damn, we should start
Smart
doing that.
move.
Hey, same girl.
I don't have to. You need to do that.
Yeah.
Same girl that I took to Fork her very first time actually bass fishing on a bass boat, and she catches a 9.7.
Oh, that bitch.
Remember that?
Damn, awesome. Golly.
And now she's an ex-girlfriend?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that bitch.
Yeah.
So
No, she's a good
anyways-
girl, though.
Yeah, she's
It
cool.
was a good breakup.
She's cool.
She's
So
good.
anyways, we're fishing this Monday night tournament. It's just a jackpot. There's about, I'm going to say, top end, probably 30 boats. Low end, probably 20. So it was pretty, $20 buy-in, 10 goes to big fish. You got to catch a 7 or the big fish rolls over. And so it's built up a little bit. Well, anyways,
Like you had just bought this boat, too.
I probably had it for a year and a half.
I don't think it was that long. I thought you just had it for like a few months.
No, I had it for 2 years.
Did you? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I was probably, obviously this is towards the end of this boat's life.
Yeah.
But anyways.
This is the end of this
Right.
boat's life. Right here in just a minute, folks.
Right.
It's coming up.
So, I'm fishing and this is May, gale force winds. Just one of those days. I'm rolling 3-footers on Lake Palestine on the south end.
Mm.
And so I'm maneuvering from point to point. I'm fishing some rocks. Well, I get up to go run to a spot and I realize my trim's out. So I take a screwdriver and I don't quite tuck the motor, but I put it at a reasonable level to where I can still run. Well, anyways, I go to make a turn and I get caught off guard by about a rolling 3-footer, and it sends me, I was in the middle of a power slide and it lifts me up. And when I come back down, it just made the most violent noise I've ever heard. But I figured it was just the hole smacking the water.
Nah.
We've all heard that.
Yeah. I mean, he drove a Ranger, so you know he's all right.
Right.
Yeah, I've come down pretty hard.
Yeah. So I don't think nothing of it. I kind of gather myself. I get to the spot. I'm fishing or whatever. Fish there for about 30 minutes. Well, I get done fishing this spot, and I said, okay, I'm going to go to this other spot where I've caught them in the past. Well, I go to hammer that thing down, and this sucker is just digging. I can't get it out of the hole.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what's going on? You know, what the hell? So I turn my bilge pump on, and I'm throwing some water out of there. But again, there's been waves splashing over all day. I don't think too much of it. Anyways, this is where the story gets good. Bilge pump is on for 10 minutes. It's pumping. And I just keep fishing. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let it do its thing. Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to let that do its thing. So strap the rods down. I'm like, all right, we're good. So I leave the bilge pump on. I go to hammer down. I'm still nose up. I mean, I'm looking at the sky.
You just can't get out of the hole.
I'm like, what is going on?
So, is that when your girlfriend like get on the nose of it to like push it down?
No, I even put her in the driver's seat, and I'm climbing over the front of this deal, and I'm trying to nose this thing down so I can get on.
People, are you catching the picture of this? I want everybody at home that's listening on the podcast on iTunes. I want to make sure you're catching the drawing that's going on here. This guy is trying to get his nose up, and he doesn't know that his boat's got a bunch of water in it. And he cannot get out of the hole. So he's got his girlfriend hammering down, and he is crawling on his belly to the trolling motor area of the boat.
Hammer it down.
Which, by the way, is not like crawling horizontally. At this point, he's climbing up because the nose is pointed at the sky.
So when we talk about, most boats, the newer ones, they don't sit in the hole that long. But, with some of them older boats,
it takes a while to get on plane.
Get a 45, 50 degree angle. No, we were at about 65. And I was like, something ain't right. And so I'm climbing this thing. I almost need a 3-point harness. It's so steep. So finally I lay it back down, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I open my back compartment, and my batteries are full of
just about to say that's your problem.
I look at Caitlin and I said, oh my
We about to die.
We got to go. And so I crank this sucker U-turn, and I'm just idling to the boat ramp. I'm freaking out. I pulled the drain plug. I thought about taking a couple nails and just poking holes in the bottom of it to get the water out so I could tow it with my truck. So what happened is my transom was cracked right there where your motor mounts, right there. There was a crack about that wide.
Where the jack plate bolts.
Where the jack plate bolts, that's right. And so, yeah, that was the end of the old Cobra.
Last trip?
Last trip on the Cobra.
So instead of crazy tournament stories, it should be
most devastating things.
I mean, I told crazy tournament stories. You guys told disastrous tournament stories.
Well, you know what's funny? I forgot there was a fish in my live well, so I asked Brad.
Whoa. The fish was in his battery compartment live.
Yeah.
This fish was in the batteries.
It started off in the live well.
They had more water back to the batteries in the live well.
Fish was back there floating belly up. He'd have been electroshocked.
Well, I remembered the fish was in there, and so I opened up my live wells, and I'm like, where is he at? And I found him in my rod box. There's a 4-pounder.
He said, I found it in my rod box.
He was big fish. She was big fish in the tournament, but we still.
I don't even care if that's made up. That's so great. Oh my God, that's amazing. Folks, he said that he had so much water in his boat that he went looking in a live well and found his fish, his one fish that he caught, in his rod box. Just for the record.
It was so small he couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Well, look who's on the TV. You know what? We need to make a phone call.
Oh, that's on Captain.
We need to make a phone call to Mexico. Y'all ready to call Mexico? Let's call Mexico and see what's going on down there. We got a special guest we're going to call right now for everybody.
Hello.
There he is. There he stinking is. Is this the infamous Captain Ron from Mexico?
Buenos noches.
Buenos noches. How are you doing, sir?
Man, just relaxing, laying on the couch, watching some Spanish TV. I don't understand what they're saying, but they got hot lemons, so that's all that matters.
For the folks at home that don't know, old Captain Ron, this is a buddy of ours named Ronnie Kelly. Captain Ron, he's down there at Lake Falcon, down there on the Mexican border. I think he's on the Texas side, but you never know because Captain Ron likes to get a little crazy. Captain, we were just sitting here talking about crazy stories on the water, crazy tournament stories.
Yeah.
I know you've got a million of them. Do you think you can pick one and tell us a good crazy story?
Man, I'll tell you one of my favorites. We were at Lake Tyler, and this isn't just great. This is pretty good. We were at Lake Tyler, and me and Eric Lushner were fishing our first time. Never been on the lake ever in our lives, and he's out there, and
folks, you may have heard of Easy E. Ronnie is talking about a guy they call Sleazy E.
or Dirty E on the weekends.
Dirty E on the weekends. All right, go ahead.
So he looks at me and he goes, "Oh no!" And I said, "What?" And he goes, "Dog, my stomach just dropped." And I said, "Uh-oh." He said, "You got any toilet paper?" I said, "Yeah, I got a little bit." So he said, "Pull over there between them islands." So I pulled over between them islands, and that sucker hung his ass off the back of the boat. And I couldn't help it, man. I just had to ease out in front of them islands while he was crapping.
So you had your buddy taking care of business hanging off the back of the boat, and you pulled out to the main lake?
To the main lake of Sponico, where everybody was just and,
oh, God.
Oh, man, he was madder than a Jap. But then, here's the best part of the story. He gets done, he pinches it off, gets done, wipes up, throws all the sailboats in the water, picks his rod up that's got a Cinco way out in the water, lifts up, something's yanking on it, sets the hook, reels it in, and it's a 7-pounder.
Oh my God! So the key to tournament fishing, folks, if you're keeping score at home, ladies and German men, the key to tournament fishing is to have your buddy ease around the corner there. Take you a little number 2 break off the back deck of the boat there, hanging 10, they might say. Go ahead and have your buddy play a prank on you and drag you out there. That way your Cinco drags out into the main lake a little bit, and then wipe your butt, get up, set the hook, and catch a 7-pounder.
That's how you get a big bite.
That's the pattern right there, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely
big crappie with big bite.
I'm definitely trying that next time I'm out, because I'm really good at pooping and I'm not very good at fishing, so I'm going for it.
Who's that other little gay boy over there?
We got Austin.
Hey.
We got Austin Fowler in the house, and Chris Blackman is on the 1s and 2s making it happen.
Fowler, what's happening?
What's up, man?
Oh, man, just hanging out with my wang out over here in Zapater.
Invite.
Hey, Ronnie, can you tell me the name of that pocket? I got a tournament coming up on Tyler.
That's over there in, we call that the shithole.
He said we call that the, what'd you say you call it, Ronnie?
The shithole.
We call it the shithole.
Yeah, that's what it says on the map, I'm sure. At this point, they've probably redone all the maps after y'all did that, because, I mean, you're kind of internationally known.
We don't ever use the regular names. That way we're top secret guide stuff.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to tell you, people ask me all the time what pocket or stuff that I'm in on Fork, and if it's not like one of the big major creeks, I really have no earthly idea half the time.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just make something up every
I'm
time.
over there at old 2 Cal. I'm over there in old 2 Cal Cove. I tell them I'm over there in 2 Cal Cove, and they're like, "Where's that?" I go, "That's where I saw them 2 cows the first time I went in there." I don't know.
That's right.
That's 2 Cal
right.
Cove.
We got a spot I got shot at one time. We call it the bullet hole.
That's it. The bullet hole. That's it.
Oh man, so what are you guys up to tonight? Y'all just playing podcast and hanging out?
We're playing podcast and hanging out. We're drinking cold beer while we're recording this to go on the YouTube channel, and we're recording the audio to go onto the podcast. We did a little bit of a live stream for about the first 15 minutes and answered some fan questions, and been talking about how the YouTube channel began, and we're gonna talk. You want to talk a little Elite Series talk with us real quick?
Elite Series talk.
Elite Series, MLF, talk
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So, the Elite Series is down there in Palatka, Florida, I think it is, down there on St. Johns River. MLF was, where was MLF at last week?
Toho? No, Kissimmee.
Yeah, it was Kissimmee.
The Kissimmee
They
chain?
were on the Kissimmee chain, which has Toho in it.
Same thing.
Kissimmee chain, which is Toho, yeah.
There, they all connect.
Yep, they all connect. So, a lot of Florida fishing going on, which is usual this time of year on the tours. You know, let's just start on this. We'll get more into some details of what's going on in the Elite Series right now, because we do have one of our own from the Lake Fork area that's participating in that event and doing pretty well. But I want to talk about that. But first, before let's talk about what everybody wants to talk about, what I've been asked about a million times. MLF versus Elite Series. So the BPT Tour, the Bass Pro Tour, powered by MLF and Bass Pro Shops, versus the Bassmaster Elite Series, the traditional top tier, top of the game tournament trail. Now I'm going to give you a little brief take on what I think about it, and then I'm going to let Ronnie respond, and then I'm going to let Austin respond. So here's my deal. Every legendary name that's ever played the game, with the exception of Rick Clunn, who's really, really old, is now on the BPT MLF Tour. The Bassmaster Elite Series is no longer the Elite Series in my opinion. It's not what I know as the Elite Series. It is a second tier to MLF because Edwin Evers, Kevin Van Dam, Mike Iaconelli, Gerald Swindle, Greg Hackney. We can keep going on and on and on. And a lot of the best young guys, Cody Bird, like all these, they're all on MLF BPT. Plus, they have more coverage, better coverage. The format is better. Like, these guys are duking it out like two heavyweights in the ring till the last minute to see who advances. There's no way anybody watches that and says that's not more exciting to watch than the damn weigh 'em in at the stage deal. Like, it's just not. I get it. You want to catch the 5 biggest. I kind of wish they would do the 5 biggest on MLF too. But, man, that is so exciting on television, and that's where all the money's generated. And my opinion is MLF is going to take over the entire tournament fishing world, and the Elite Series is now minor league fishing, and it's appropriately named when they call it Major League Fishing because it really is. Ronnie, what's your take?
Well, it wouldn't be fun if there wasn't Cowboys and Indians and we didn't disagree.
Okay.
So, here's my deal. I do like the Bass Pro Tour, and I do agree to an extent with the names, but let me go through some Bassmaster Elite heavyweight names that are still standing. Mark Menendez, Clifford Perch, Scott Canterbury. For those of you guys that don't know Scott Canterbury, you probably just don't know a lot about fishing.
Yeah.
Rick Clunn, John Cruz, Kelly J, Chad Morgan Taylor, Clark Wendlandt.
Kelly J's BPT, bud.
I'm sorry?
You said Kelly J. He's on the MLF deal.
Kelly J is not number one. Is he not on the MLF?
Oh, you're talking about J-A-Y. Okay.
I was thinking J for Jordan too.
We're thinking Kelly Jordan.
We were all thinking Jordan.
Okay, let's let Ronnie come back. Ronnie, sorry about that. Yeah, we were thinking Kelly Jordan. Go ahead.
Point,
I
Ronnie.
was going to say, because there's a little bit of drama between Kelly J and a couple of wives of the MLF anglers, actually. There's a little bit of Facebook drama going on right there.
Please do expand on this because that is a juicy topic.
Well, Kelly J posted a meme on Facebook of just kind of making fun of the Bass Pro Tour and how confusing it was. And Matt Lee's wife, you remember, Jordan Lee, the guy that pretty much wins everything. He's actually got a brother that fishes that nobody even knows.
Well, if you didn't know, I'm sitting next to Jordan Lee right now.
So Matt Lee's wife gets on there and goes, "Hey Kelly, why don't you quit hating? These guys saved your job." And then I can't remember exactly whose wife, but one of the older guys' wives followed up and said, "Yeah, for real, quit hating." So that was kind of funny.
Man, that's some pretty serious shots fired for some women folk. Just these guys saved your job. Man, you know what?
Some people can't wrangle their women. My grandma used to say, "If you spare the rod, you spoil the broad."
Yeah. Yeah. I know your grandma used to say.
So
let me ask you this. What is before you go any further, I need everybody, the folks at home, to know, what is your main number one criteria for judging a woman when you first meet her?
Does she bitch about fishing?
Well, hey, look, here's the deal.
If she ain't what?
If she ain't 280, she ain't a lady.
That's it. If she ain't 280, she ain't a lady, folks.
You know what I said when I first met my wife?
She needed to gain a little weight?
I said, "Hey, girl, roses are red, macaroni's cheesy. Holler at me, 'cause you thick and easy."
Holler at me because you think it easy. God damn.
I took her home like a Domino's pizza.
Okay. God almighty. Listen, hot and ready, right? Okay.
We got Clark Wendlandt, Matt Airy, Cliff Prince.
Like, I hear you. I think we've got enough of the roster. I mean, we can. I mean, okay, I think that. Listen, I think that. Hold on, time out, Rodney. I think that we all are in agreement that the Elite Series roster is a really extremely good roster, but it doesn't hold a candle to the amount of legends that are on BPT. Would you agree with that?
Yet.
There
will be legends made in the Elite Series that we don't know about.
But they're not beating the legends.
They left out Scott Martin. They left out Brian Thrift. They left out Stetson Blaylock. They left out a lot of really...
Brian Thrift and Stetson Blaylock are on the BPT tour.
No, Brian Thrift is not. Brian Thrift is on the FLW tour.
No,
I thought he was a last-minute addition.
I've got the best.
Andy
I'm
Morgan
looking at
is on
Elite Series
the
roster right
BPT.
now. Bernie Schultz. I mean, these are heavy hitters. So,
Dude,
okay.
Bernie Schultz, and we were talking about Greg Hackney, or Jeff Crete for crying out loud, or Aaron Martins, or Skeet Reeves.
Hey,
Bernie Schultz is not them.
No.
Here's the deal. Here's the other deal. I don't think. So Billy, you and I are in the same category. We've both got really big social media presence. I've got 5,000 friends, most of which I don't personally know. They're just all fishing fans. And there's several people that have complimented the Bass Pro Tour, but there are way more people that are talking about the Elite Series right now. Way more.
With all due respect, I completely disagree with you. They're talking about it right now because that's the event going on this week.
And not only that, but the Bass Pro Tour is not on TV. It's live streamed just like the Elite
Well,
Series.
it is going to be on TV on delayed.
Yeah, 10 months later.
Just like the Elite Series.
The Bassmaster Elite Series had 0 flaws when Bass Pro Tour was pretty much about a 30% flop.
You talking about their live coverage?
Yeah, I'm talking about all their technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. I like them both. You know, if I'm going to sit at home and watch fishing, I don't really care what's going on. But I promise you, people were getting way more excited when Patrick Walters walked across the stage with 33 pounds today than when Jordan Lee caught 27 1 pound and 11 ounce fish.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, it's all confusing too with MLF. For me, I haven't followed MLF as much, and I will, and I'll learn about it. But they got shotgun round. They got the Summit Select.
No, that's different. That's on the Summit Cup. That's not on their tour.
I don't even freaking know about
Their
it.
tour is different.
But you still have the shotgun round 1, which is a group of 40 people. Round 2, then you got elimination round, period 1, period 2, 3, and all that.
The only difference, it's really not that complicated if you looked into their tour deal. The only difference is they have 2 groups of 40 instead of 1 group of 80, and they cut that field before they go down to 1 group. So you have like 2 separate fields, then you get a cut, and then the best out of those 2 fields come together and fish for 2 more days.
I know that I looked at the results after one of the rounds, and I think out of the top 10, there was over 200 fish caught total between the top 10. The biggest fish out of all 200 of those was 3 pounds and 12 ounces. That is not exciting.
But that's just not the case. If you look, they caught a lot of big fish in that deal.
No, I'm not saying they did, but I'm saying the period that I looked at, that one day.
I would be willing to bet they caught just as many big fish. They probably caught bigger fish and just as many big fish in the BPT event that they have at.
No, you're right. You're right.
St.
But I'm saying that one day. I don't know what day it was.
Wrong. That's not even close. I mean, there was almost a 35 pound bag weighed in today, and a 33 pound bag. I mean, there's a complete different mindset when you go out. It's all about 5 bites.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that, and I wish that the BPT tour, I wish that their tour events would keep everything the same. I wish they'd keep, the eliminations, all that the same, except I wish that they would call and do a best 5 instead of total weight.
Yeah.
That's what I would prefer. That would be my ultimate,
I agree with that.
dream of viewing tournament pleasure. I want to see Hackney and all them guys fish that elimination style format on a best 5 type of deal.
I'll agree
so
with
if
that.
somebody catches a 5 pounder in the last minute and they call and they knock out KVD, that would to me be the ultimate deal.
Yeah.
But that's not what they're doing.
Right.
That's not what they're doing.
Here's the other thing I don't like. They get equal amount of practice. I'm going to throw the days out there. They go out there, all 80 anglers go out there Monday and Tuesday, and they fish in X conditions. And then Wednesday, 40 of them fish in different conditions than the other 40 fish on Thursday.
And the 40 the first day fished the waters before the next 40.
Well,
okay. Yes, everybody should fish at the same time.
Yes.
Okay, so
the same time, same conditions, everything. I agree.
And I hear you. And here's how they rectify that. And I actually think this is a plus for me. And it's okay that we disagree on this, right?
Yes.
Like, it's all good that we disagree.
I mean, it's crazy the world don't think that, but yes, we can disagree, still be friends.
And for the record, all 4 of us will watch both.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We all love all of it.
Yes.
This is just a personal preference deal. It's no big deal that we disagree. But what they do is, so they have the 40 that fish. They have a group of 40 that fish for 2 days. Now everybody in those 40 fishes for those 2 days, and they have another group of 40 that fishes the next 2 days, and those are on different days. You're like, well, that's not fair. But this 40 never competes against this 40's numbers, because after they make that cut, they go to 0. And here's my deal: I love that, because you can't have one lucky home run day. Like, you can't have a huge Friday in the Bassmaster Elite Series. If you catch 40 pounds in a Florida lake on Friday, and the average, of the rest of the top 10 is only catching 20 pounds, well, you built up this big lead. Nobody can catch you. Like, you can catch 10 pounds the next 2 days and win. That's how that goes. And this deal,
and you deserve to.
And this deal,
if you
I don't
catch
think so. I think it's a truer test.
If you
hold on, let me get my point out. Let me get my point
Whoa.
out. Let me get my point out, then you can come back at me. I think it's a truer test if you have to catch them every single day. So when those guys catch that big bag and they blow everybody out on day 2, well, now on day 3, after they've made the cut, everybody's at 0. And you got to catch them today. Every single day, you got to beat everybody in that field. I think that's a truer test. That's my opinion.
I agree with that. I see what you're saying. But if you can catch 40 pounds or
that's
big
the
30
traditional
pounds,
way.
if you do that in one day, props to you, because you just made every other day easier after that. Or if you come back the last day and rally and catch 40 pounds to win after you've been, down a lot, props to you.
That's cool. Yeah,
that's freaking awesome. If you catch 40, that's awesome.
Here's something that we're probably not taking into consideration. Obviously, none of us have fished at that level, but with the people that fish at that level, one thing they always say is no lead is safe. These guys catch them every day. And so, the reality is those guys go out there and they do catch them everything. Here's what's important. It's progressing the sport. That's a big deal. These guys are out there at the top level of our sport. And Billy, one thing I don't think this will take over. The reason I don't is there were 2,000 to 3,000 fans every day at the weigh-in so far at this Elite Series event. And they're going to pack a stadium out for the Bassmasters Classic this year, and they're going to do the same thing next year, and the next year, and the next year. And that's never going to stop. I mean, that's going to be the deal. And the other thing is the major sponsor behind all this is the same guy. It's the godfather of bass fishing. It's freaking Johnny freaking Morris. It's the Donald Trump of the outdoors, and he's throwing his money at all 3 of these things. He's involved in FLW, Bassmasters, and the BLT.
He has hedged all his bets. It don't matter which one of them wins, he comes out on top. There ain't no doubt about that, bud.
Cornered.
Oh, no doubt.
And I think that one thing that we can all agree on too is that whether you prefer Elite Series, whether you prefer whatever, the MLF and what they've done as far as exposure on television and getting more numbers on television and getting more sponsor dollars involved, all that stuff that MLF has done, you can't argue they've done that better than anybody ever has. It's all good for the sport, like Ronnie said. It's all growing the sport. It's getting more exposure, more new eyes on the sport. And despite what some of the old school thinking guys think, it is a great thing for everybody that's in the business to have more new people loving the sport of bass fishing. That's a great thing.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, it's good. I wouldn't go as far to say they're the biggest. ESPN did a whole lot for the sport. Mike Iaconelli did a whole lot.
Well, I just mean the numbers on the MLF and the Summit Cup and the stuff that they've done so far is bigger than anything that has ever been on TV for bass fishing.
The problem with all that stuff is you've got to have you got to have the $129.99 a month Dish Network package to watch any of it.
Yeah.
But you don't on MLF now.
You do. It comes on the Outdoor Network.
No, it also comes on CBS Sports Network, which is on most basic packages. It also comes
NBC, I think.
Like the championships and stuff come on CBS. Then you can watch it with an antenna. If you still had antennas, they don't even exist anymore.
Used to come on ESPN, and obviously they don't anymore. But no, I think it's all good, and I think traditionally, here's my deal. I like 5 big fish. I think we kind of all agree to that.
Yeah, I do too.
And I wish it would just be 4 days practice, 4 days tournament. That's all I wish. But the biggest deal is the anglers were unhappy. I watched Ike live, and he talked about how they had expressed their concerns to closed ears. And let me talk about something else that people aren't talking about. And I don't know how much of this there is or isn't. I think in every industry and every sport, there's a bunch of little whiners. And I think there's definitely a bunch of little whiners in the Elite Series and guys that whine and cry about stuff. And I think there was some of that going on just overall. And I think, they've tried this before. They tried it with the professional anglers association, the PAA.
Yeah, the PAA, yes, sir.
They try to do their own thing, and there's no information, and they try to show up to random lakes because nobody figured out. Part of bass fishing is research, and you got a few of these guys that are what I like to call bass fishing purists, and they feel like the new technology and I kind of thought some of that played into the MLF, but I don't really anymore. I think really what it is I think it's more Gary Klein than anybody else. Boyd Duckett's obviously a driving force behind it, but I think Gary Klein envisioned these guys, especially the young anglers, being able to go out and fish and not have these ridiculous. Listen, these entry fees. It's all ego with most of the people that fish these opens and the coasters. You're going out there and you fish 15 or 20 Bassmaster Opens or FLW coasters, and you've won $2,500. Bro, listen, you are not a professional anything. Holy crap! You might as well just be throwing your money out at a titty bar. I mean, that's horrible. These things are expensive.
I've had many people ask me, why don't you tournament fish? Why don't you fish the opens? Why don't you fish the deal? And my answer was always this: even if I killed it in the opens, even if I qualified for the Elite Series, if I did as good as I could hope to do, I will lose money unless I'm like top 20 in the world. I'm losing money. Like, those guys were getting destroyed financially. They would be like the 50th best person at what they did in the world. And if you're the 50th best person, if you do anything, I don't care what you do, if you're number 50 in the entire world at it, you should not wonder where you're going to pay your bills.
Yep.
And they were. And that was the whole deal where BASS, man, I don't know, maybe part of me liking the MLF so much is I'm hoping that BASS gets their comeuppance, because they screwed a lot of really good guys for a lot of years. Yeah. And I'm kind of hoping they get their comeuppance on this deal, because, what they did was just so foul financially. They were clearing a profit of $26, $27 million a year at times, and most of their field was broke.
Yeah.
Well, and
right.
I thought about it too, and why should a professional that you have to qualify to get here, why do you have to pay an entry fee?
Well, now you don't. If you're on the right tour.
You're right. But why? Does NASCAR pay an entry fee?
Nope, none of them do.
Does golf have entry fees?
Nope.
Anything like
And
that?
in fact, in golf, they even ensure that even dead last place gets a check in golf.
You can go fish the Texas Team Trail and pay a $250 entry and dang near win 60% of what they're winning. Hey, look, listen to this. The Texas Team Trail, the first term of the season was on Rayburn. It got canceled due to the water being high, so they moved it to May 10th. Well, check the dynamic of this deal out. There's already a tournament on Rayburn, Triple T, May 11th. Now they moved the first tournament to May 10th. So now you got two different tournaments, but they're back-to-back days. So you have a total of a $500 entry fee, okay? $500 versus $5,000 in the Elite Series, and you can win more money if you win on both.
But I think the Elite Series entry before this year was $10,000.
No, it's like 4,500 or 500, 5,000.
I was.
No,
I thought it was
45 or 5, or maybe 55 or something like that.
I thought it was $10,000 because their total entries were like $80,000 for the year. Okay.
So if you got a check in the Elite Series, you basically doubled your entry, not counting from driving from here to New York for 5 days, fishing for 10 days, and all that crap.
Right.
But
and Billy, you're probably in the same shoes. I've had customers say, "Hey, man, you are to fish the opens. I'd love to sponsor you and pay for you to fish the opens." If I can't gamble my money, I sure as hell ain't gambling yours.
That's right.
It's just not happening. But hey, look, I would love to. If that was the deal, and I thought I was good enough to compete, and I'm not certain that I'm not good enough to compete, but I know I'm not good enough to go out and spend $5,000 because you got $2,500 entry and $2,500 in expenses just to maybe after 20 or 30 events qualify for the Elite Series that I know I can't afford. So MLF in that sense is really, really cool. Now, one thing they better figure it out quick, is how to become a Bass Pro Tour angler. Because right now it's popularity, because they left out Keith Combs and they left out Brian Thrift.
But that's not counting. We don't know if Brian Thrift got an invite and stayed loyal to FLW, because I'm sure Brian Thrift, he's the best FLW tour, arguably all time.
Yeah, ever since
we do know for a fact Keith Combs didn't get an invite.
Scott
And
Martin.
That's crazy.
Zona was talking about that today.
Right. I mean, you're right. It is popular because why would, and I'm not calling him out, but Alton Jones Jr., why should he get in over Keith Combs?
He shouldn't.
He shouldn't. You're right. I agree.
Well, how does Denny Brower get in there over? Denny Brower's retired.
I didn't even know he was even in there.
I didn't
What
know he
about
was in
Boyd
there
Duckett?
either.
Why would Boyd Duckett in there? He sucks.
Because he freaking founded the team.
Boy, Duckett owns the whole shooting match. That's why he's
I
in
don't
there.
care. That has nothing to. I mean,
He invited
Jerry Jones
himself,
owns
bro.
The Cowboys, he ain't on the field. I mean, come on.
Like, listen, Ronnie, if you're going to have a party, like, you're going to invite yourself to your own party.
I didn't even qualify to fish my whole tour.
He saved some money on postage on that
Well,
one.
on a more serious note, to answer your comment there about they better figure out how to become a BPT angler, everybody they sign is on a 3-year contract. So they've got 3 years to figure out, an undercard tour or whatever you want to call it, a feeder system to the BPT tour because everybody signed up for a 3-year contract. So
I know, that blows my mind. 3 years of a professional sport that doesn't change. That's just weird to me. No draft. I mean, it's just a weird deal,
it's all new. It's an exciting time to be in the world of fishing because there's so much change. Speaking of the, we were talking about the road through the opens and how hard it is and all that. So speaking of that, let's segue that into one of our own. And I'm just gonna. We said we were gonna keep it real here on this podcast, so we're gonna keep it real. This guy and me, this happens sometimes when you fish 200 plus 250 days a year on a 30,000 acre lake and you both are out there that much, you're gonna have some disagreements or run-ins. And me and this guy that we're fixing to talk about have not had the best of relationships in the past. I mean, it's nothing major, like nobody's like gotten real crazy about it, but we've had some disagreements and we've texted and talked back and forth about not liking something the other did to each other, and so we've never really got along the best. But I will say I give the ultimate respect to him because he did go through the opens. Now he got one of the extended invites. He didn't qualify through the old school way, but he was right there on the verge for the last several years. Really, he's been right there into qualifying in the just virtually impossible way that it was beforehand. And then with the new spots opening up on the Elite Series, he got an invite, which he rightfully deserved. Mr. Lee Livesay, or Livesay, I'm not really sure how he likes his name pronounced. I've heard everybody do it both ways, but Lee Livesay is a Lake Fork guide, and he's arguably been the best Lake Fork guide over the last few years for sure, as far as consistency of catching big bags of fish.
Yeah.
And man, his very first Elite Series tournament, he's in the, I'm not sure, where did he end up today? Does anybody know?
He's in sixth place right now. He caught 21 pounds.
21 pounds a day.
21 pounds a day. He's in
26 and a half
sixth.
pounds yesterday.
He's
And hey, listen to this. I can't remember the exact number, but he's fished like 14 opens and cashed a check, I think, in 10 of them.
That sounds right.
That's crazy. And it does sound right. He's just really consistent. But yeah, his first Elite Series, man, in the top 10. He's in sixth place going into the final day as we're filming this on Saturday night. So, man, best of luck to Lee Livesay. By the time this airs, the tournament will be over. But we don't know the final results yet. We sure hope that he makes a comeback tomorrow and wins the thing. He was in second place yesterday, so he slid back a few spots. But
see, and to me, that's going back to the MLF talk. I mean, he had 26 pounds yesterday, followed up with 21 pounds, and fell to sixth.
yeah,
I mean, I mean, you catch 26 pounds and 21. We had 19 the first day, Ronnie.
Yep.
Yeah, he had 19 pounds.
Well, I mean,
26
that's all.
pounds,
That's all.
21 pounds, and in sixth place.
That's all relative to the fishery too, though. They're in Florida in February,
Yes.
and I'm gonna tell you, it ain't gonna be no different when they come
there
to.
is a difference. I mean, there's definitely a difference in strategy.
When they come to Lake Fork in May, do that
Yes.
22, 23 pound average ain't gonna do nothing.
You will get laughed at.
You won't make the cut with that. You won't even be close. So, it's all relative. They're in good fishery, St. John's River in Florida. Yeah, I mean, 26, 21 pounds, that's awesome. But, dude, they're on a hammer of a fishery.
You're right.
So you got
Clifford Perch caught 30, Clifford Perch caught 34.9 today, boys.
And see, that's what I'm thinking is somebody tomorrow, somebody's got them some big uns on a bed or something down there, somebody's going to come in, and I'm hoping and praying that it's Lee. I hope it is Lee. Man, it would be awesome to see him do it. But somebody's going to come in with a huge bag tomorrow.
He's got the Johnson brothers years in front of him. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Chris
They're
and Corey Johnston, but
scary
my God.
good. Scary good.
Those are the power
They're
pole guys.
very good.
Like the power, like sponsor, their tile sponsor.
They're the Canadian brothers. They're from
the
Canada,
Canadian
and they're
brothers.
hammers, dude. They're so
I think
good.
they have power poles. There's a rap. Well, they did a few years ago.
Yeah, they're about as good as it gets. So, man, the whole Elite Series, FLW, all of it's pretty cool. I'm excited about all of it. I love watching all of it. Marty the Party put on a show on MLF, and that was a blast. I like him a lot.
Marty the Party. That dude's crazy. You know what? I know why you like him, because he's just about like you.
Dude, he's goofy as a run-over duck. Sucker gets on his boat and dances. I love it.
Yeah.
If me and Marty the Party went to the titty bar together, I guarantee you both of us would run away with a bucket full of ones. It would be a blast.
You know, I
like
don't
the crap
really-
out of it. Hey, I bought his boat in 2009.
I don't really doubt that. But
So you must be a partier too. You bought his boat. Did you get the juju with it?
I did. I busted juju out on it many a times, buddy. Many a times.
To me, just coming in with a 35-pound sack is way more adrenaline. And as a fan, you know, getting excited to see, you know, them come across the stage with the fish and everything, not knowing. You still, I mean, you have bass track and all that, but it's not official.
It's not.
And so, to still, you know, to still see, you know, it's still gonna be close. You know, is he gonna win? You know, because it's a big pay difference too.
Listen, I hear what you're saying there, and I like that best five. I think that's a truer measure of
we
a
agree
good
on that.
day. But to me, nothing beats the drama of where you do know where everybody stands exactly, and you know whether it's a
Because
two,
that will mess with you mentally.
Whether-
Hey, Billy's coming
Can you
behind me.
turn
You know,
that
he's
off?
catching.
I mean, can you turn it off where they don't tell you?
No, you have to know. And see, that's the deal about it, as a viewer watching it live, like, you know exactly where everybody is, and you know that Hackney needs a 3.5 pounder, and Swindle needs a 2 pounder, and if either one of them catches this fish, they're going to knock KVD out, or they're going to knock whoever, Ike and Ellie out, whoever it is. But you just know, like, and then you see them set the hook, and it's just the excitement of, oh my God, is this fish going to weigh 2.3 pounds?
Don't you have to be watching live to pretty much get
No,
that adrenaline?
no, you don't. You can watch it live, but that's also how it airs on TV on the show.
It broadcasts live, no matter when you
The
watch
way
it.
they broadcast it, it's as it happens the same way, and you know the scoreboard, you know where they stand, and there is no more high drama. And I think that's why their TV ratings are so much better than everything else. It's a much better product on TV because it's not a, hey, look, they're all.
It's a lot more action.
Basically,
It's a
the
lot more
Elite
action.
Series and like the traditional bass fishing tournament on TV, it's a highlight reel followed by a weigh-in, and this is like live action, live drama. This guy needs a 1.7 pound fish to win, and when he sets the hook, dude, that's, I mean, you know it's probably going to be it, or maybe.
Yeah.
And then you see a little fish, and you're like, oh my God, is it 1.5? Is it 1.8? You know, like, there's no more drama than that. It just doesn't get any more.
There's also a lot of excitement too in not knowing. I mean, if me and you going in the final day and I got a 10-pound lead on you, I ain't really worried about you. But then all of a sudden you catch 30 pounds and I catch 19 pounds.
That's more exciting for me and you when we're fishing against each other. But that's not more exciting
As
for the
for
person that's
fans.
watching on TV. It's a TV. All I'm saying, it's a better TV product. Right, Ronnie? Or no?
I care about big fish.
I know you do.
Big fish and big women, that's all I care about.
I know.
We
We
fish me.
fully are aware of your affinity for big women. We're
Yep,
all aware
yep.
of this. So, well,
Thick
man,
and easy.
thick and easy. That's it. Buddy.
Speaking of which, where'd you eat supper tonight?
Man, I went over to Paricio's. You know, me and
Boy.
Billy have been talking about this whole.
Oh,
When you're down here in Zapata, there's a couple things you can eat. You can either eat Mexican food or Mexican food or Mexican food. And so tonight I decided I was going to eat Mexican food.
and what you don't know is that chicken fried steak with gravy and cheese on it is Mexican food.
Yeah, it's definitely Mexican food. And so you got three places. You got El Paricio's. You got El Paricio's. You have El Rincon, and you have the steakhouse. Well, they're all kind of the same deal.
They're all owned by
Is
the
it,
same
is
family.
it actually called the steakhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the steakhouse, but that's because it's chicken. But it's
Still
you
Mexican
know they don't
food.
call it the chicken.
The
fried
same
steakhouse,
family
but
owns
it
all
is
of them.
The chicken fried steakhouse.
The same
But-
family owns all the restaurants.
But let me tell y'all, for all the folks listening to this now and in the future,
He said folks too.
El Rincon gets my vote because they have green sauce. And I'm talking about this is some of that green sauce that you could just bathe in.
Man,
I mean,
now I've got to go to El Rincon. I've always been a Parisios guy.
Is it like
now I've got to go to Rincon because I'm a green sauce fanatic.
Is it like a dip and dye? Like, do you use it on your trick worms for dip and dye?
No, but speaking of which, Billy, I think on the next challenge, I think what we need to do is the loser has on their beard, they have to chartreuse dye a Fu Manchu.
I'm in. I'm
Dip and dye the
1,000%
Fu
in.
Manchu.
I'm 1,000% in on the Spike It Fu Manchu challenge.
Yeah. Me and my old tournament partner and his buddy that he works with, they were here or went to college with or something. I don't even know. They might have met on Grindr.com, but they were here the last 3 days. And we were going to sneak in there and dye his beard with Spike It, and we couldn't make it happen. But we were going to.
Well,
Yeah.
That stuff's like smelling salt. That'd wake me up too.
Oh yeah, a little garlic on the beard, dude. It would have been epic. But that's going to be the deal. Man, I'm
Soon
not
as you
Robbie
get back.
Rosenhose on this next one. When you're not paying attention, drop a couple lead weights down their throat.
Listen, soon as you get back, as soon as we can get a day scheduled together, we're doing the Spike It Fu Manchu challenge for sure, no doubt about it.
The Spike It Fu Manchu. I can't wait, Jack.
Man, that's awesome.
You know what I thought about doing?
Hmm.
And this might be a little bit much for the podcast, so I'll keep it PG, but give me a little happy trail for my wife right before I got home. What do you think? Ain't seen her in a month, and I come home with the old chartreuse sleeve to the happy. You know
Oh, you want to do a Spike It?
Spike It happy
A
trail.
Spike It happy trail for the old lady when you get home. Dude, I 100% support this. I just need to make sure you have the GoPro rolling when she reacts. That's all.
Hey, it's a picture. It didn't happen.
Pics or it didn't happen.
That's what I said earlier.
Bids or it didn't happen.
Yeah. That's it.
Blackman's got his tournament coming up at Lake Tyler, and he is stoked.
Yeah. Are you pumped up about your tournament at Tyler Black?
Now that I know about the shithole.
Did you hear him?
He's Mexican food the night before.
Yeah. You got to eat that chicken fried steak with that cheese on it and then go fish the shithole.
Now Houston's gonna eat that, and then I'm gonna catch him.
I got another story. Here's a real good story. So we're at Lake Tyler, and I'm fishing with a buddy of mine, and we're fishing one of those, like, one of the night deals, you know, where weigh-ins are like 9 o'clock or whatever. And we're out on the main lake, and we're fishing a point, and he's like, oh, no. And he's telling me he's got irritable bowel syndrome, you know, which if you're fishing, Billy, you've probably heard this. Everybody's got some kind of condition. Usually it's a bad back. But this guy's got irritable bowel syndrome, so he's got to drop a dish right there in the middle of the lake. So he goes, all right, I don't want to run to the bank. Here's what I'm going to do.
Hey, pause real quick. Okay, go ahead.
All right. He goes, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull my shorts off, and I'm going to jump in the water. And every time I crap, I'm going to hold on to the back of the boat, and you go forward on the trolling motor.
That's what power poles are for, by the way.
Well, we're out in the middle of the pond right now. And so I go, great, no problem. The back on some of our boats has the little handle or whatever?
Yeah, yeah.
So he's holding on to the handle. He's just got his T-shirt on, and, you know, just a T-shirt. That's all he's wearing. And he goes, all right, go. So I couldn't help him. and he starts screaming and cussing, and, you know, this ain't funny. Dude, you're getting it all over me. Hey, at this point, I can't even breathe. I'm laughing so hard.
Neither can we.
He's threatening, and I look up and I see a boat coming, and I start flagging them down. I'm waving like I might be broke down, you know, and he's like, what are you doing? And this boat starts pulling up, and I recognize them, and I know this guy, it's this guy and his wife, and I know him. Well, he can't just let go of the boat because we're dead center in the middle of the lake, and he's back here in just a T-shirt. So they pull up, they're like, everything all right? And I'm like, yeah, hey, watch this. And I just hit the trolling motor on high, and he holds on, and it just pulls his body up out of the water. And all you see is a T-shirt and a little white ass and his legs kicking.
Good Lord.
Hey, you should have told him that you had a cramp and he needed help getting up out of the water.
Ronnie Kelly, ladies and gentlemen, he wins the MVP of the first ever Fish Life First one. Episode 1.
Hey, and Billy made me promise I'd never tell that story about him, but I can't.
Damn it. You're gonna make me cough up something that's been in my body for 20 years. I'm laughing so hard. Good Lord.
Dude, I got Keystone Light in my nostrils.
Oh my goodness, folks. Things have gotten a bit chaotic here in the Fish Life. I don't know if you call this a studio, dojo, or whatever it is, but
Studio.
holy cow. I don't even really know what to say after that. That's something else.
Captain Ron.
Yeah.
Call in next time, folks. We'd love to have some live callers to join in with us and Captain Ron and whoever else wants to be on there. We've got 4 different phones in here, but call that number, 903-519-1542. If you want to get in here and tell us your crazy stories or ask us questions or just kind of tell us how screwed up we all are, especially Captain Ron. Man, Captain Ron, that's a pretty great story. I can't believe you told all my deepest, darkest secrets, but it's awesome, buddy. Hey, so let's talk about. Okay, well we'll go ahead. The Falcon deal. If you go down to Lake Falcon, I mean the food down there is amazing. We're gonna talk about food a little bit. You cool with talking about food? Because yeah. So a big part about being a fisherman and a guy that gets on the road a lot and goes fishing in different places, maybe tournament fishing, whatever. A big part about that is the food that you eat, because there's a lot of different foods that we encounter no matter where we go, and some good, some maybe not so good. But I know Lake Falcon, like that might be the that might be the winner right there, just because, folks, if you've never had a hand tenderized piece of beef, chicken fried with some gravy and some cheese on it, I mean this stuff's so tender, you eat it, it just falls apart in your mouth, and it's got the cheese and the gravy, and it is just one of the most delicious, unhealthy, heart attack on a plate meals that you will ever eat. It's unbelievable.
And the beauty is everything is so screwed. So I don't know who did the menus around here, but it definitely was a woman. So when you come in here, you order, and they're kind of all the same. So you get at the steak. Let's use the steakhouse because this is the most popular. So and one thing, Billy, you forgot to add is the cheese down here is all American cheese.
That's true. It's all the orange American cheese, right?
It's just straight up yellow American cheese like your mom would put on your sandwich.
Right.
And so you order the steakhouse special, and it comes with chicken fried steak, smothered cheese and gravy, rice, beans, a cheese enchilada, a taco, and guacamole, and it's $10.99.
And what about, it's got those home fries, like those homemade French fries it's got those, right?
No, that doesn't come on that.
Okay, that's Paricio's. Paricio's has the home fries with it.
Well, but hold on. That's if you order the steakhouse special. If you order the chicken fried steak, right?
Yeah.
If you just order the chicken, it comes with the fries. It comes with
okay, that's what it is. Okay, my bad. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
And hold on. One thing I forgot. 2 slices of bread. And you can get any kind of bread you want. They got white bread, wheat bread, Texas toast,
Mexican bread.
I was just about to say.
They got Mexican toast. They got all kinds of toast. It's $10.99. If you order the chicken fried steak by itself, it comes with French fries, rice, beans. It's $10.99. Sorry, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't think we any of us get it.
Did you just have to let that out?
You just had to get that off your chest.
Get it off your chest.
Hey, you know this didn't Yelp, right?
I'm gonna need to see a manager, please, man.
So
yeah, Billy and I, we've talked about the ponchos, and I've ranked them in order: El Rincon, El Paradiso, and Steakhouse. That's the way it goes.
That's your vote on poncho goodness.
That's my vote, pretty much on the restaurant.
So the ponchos. Let's tell the folks what the ponchos are, Ronnie.
They're basically they're tortilla chips with a whole bunch of or with beans and a whole bunch of American cheese, then guacamole, and then fajita meat.
Then that fajita beef, it's just like the best fajita beef you've ever had in your life.
It is. It's the best.
Beans, guacamole, and cheese, and it just, again, it's so tender and everything just melts in your mouth. The ponchos are unbelievably good.
And there's a crawfish joint in town.
Crawfish joint in Mexico, or in North Mexico is what I call the Texas side of Falcon. That's North Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always heard the crawfish down there are huge. Is that a fact?
Dude, it's not, no, bro. Those aren't that kind of crawfish.
I was going to say.
Ronnie, he's talking. Dude, Ronnie, do you remember the old picture that the game wardens had of that like lobster that was living in Lake Falcon? You remember that?
Yeah.
Chris just goes, man, I heard the crawfish are huge down there. Is that the ones y'all are like that's the ones they got in the restaurant, you know?
Well, no,
these are horrible, man. These were some of the worst crawfish I've ever had. I only had one.
Because they travel all the way from Louisiana, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but here's the deal. The waitresses wear yoga pants, and they've got like 4 or 5 of them. And, hey, one of them just perfect. I like her. So I've been trying to holler at her.
Easy
But,
killer.
Is that Juanita?
no, I don't know her name.
Ronnie, I'll be down there tomorrow.
Chris is on his way. You said yoga pants and Latino women. He's on his way right now.
I told my wife earlier about her, and she's like, that doesn't sound very attractive to me. My wife's not really, she doesn't have good taste for Latino women, so.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's true.
My wife really doesn't either.
I do, because I like seeing if I run away faster than they run.
No, you don't.
Trust me, I do.
Wow, this is going off the rails, folks. Is there any other traveling food from fishing destinations you like to plug?
Oh, yes.
Tell me another one, Ronnie. Give me another one from a different location.
How about the smoky chicken sandwich right there in...
Woo, legendary Lake Fork. Smoky chicken. I can take this one. Thank you very much. Because I eat about literally 100 of these a year. No lie, no exaggeration. The smoky chicken sandwich at Tiffany's restaurant there at Lake Fork Marina. It's a great lunch item. It's not really like dinner. I would probably do something different. But for lunch, it's one of the best things you can come have on the water lunch at the marina there. They got a restaurant right there. And it is grilled chicken breast. It's ham, bacon, Swiss cheese, barbecue sauce. Man, and it on a delicious bun. And it's just, man, it is, that stuff all works together so well in harmony that
Out of all the years I've been there, I've never had that. Why? Nobody told me that.
Guess who's down here at Falcon, or who was down here at Falcon?
who that is?
Mr. Mosier.
What?
Mr. Mosier.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, Kenny Mosier was down here for 2 days. I saw him both. Hey, Tina's restaurant for breakfast. Didn't even bring that up. Best migas you'll ever eat. Best carne guisada.
Whoa, hold on now. Tina's restaurant, that's down there in Zapata, Texas. It's just kind of a little hole in the wall, and it's a breakfast joint, right?
It is breakfast and lunch.
Breakfast and lunch, and so you recommend the migas at Tina's for breakfast on the
carne
Falcon.
guisada.
Now, I am going to tell you that Parisios will do you right on breakfast, too. I'm a Parisios fanatic.
Parisios and El Rincon for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They got my vote.
They got it. All in on any of it. Okay, so we got the smoky chicken sandwich at Lake Fork. Austin, do you have any traveling food from any of the fishing destinations you've been to? We kind of touched earlier. You were talking about eating some crawfish down there on the...
So down in Cajun Country, Chatfield Basin, so we had to get some crawfish down there, and man, the crawfish was just phenomenal compared to what we eat here. I always thought, Seth at Lake Fork was good crawfish, and it is really good. It really
but it ain't
is
like
good.
that.
But it's not. I mean, that crawfish there.
No, see, I grew up
way bigger.
I grew up in Southeast Texas, and the town I grew up in, Spring, Texas, has a crawfish festival. And so as far as Texas goes, like I literally grew up in the crawfish capital of Texas, but we were really close to South Louisiana down there, and it is different, completely different.
It is way different.
Yeah.
Hey,
and it's
Austin,
cheap,
and
too.
the beauty of South Louisiana, were you around Morgan City?
Yeah, we stayed literally in Morgan City.
So, my favorite thing about Morgan City is pretty much everywhere you go, they have bread pudding.
Yes.
Bread pudding.
But I will say, Seth's at Lake Fork bread
they
pudding.
do that bread pudding, yeah.
That bread pudding is the best.
Yeah,
That bread pudding is about like Megan Fox. I mean, it's one of the best things I've ever
It's about like Megan Fox, he says, folks. My goodness.
It's delicious. It looks good.
How you know what Megan Fox is?
Do what?
It's just in his mind.
Oh.
In his mind's
eye. Okay, never mind.
Not if you look at
Yeah, I've been down there in Zapata for a long time, and I haven't seen my wife, so.
Oh, okay, my bad.
So he's got Latina yoga
I
pants.
don't leave here until the 26th.
He's been down there away from his wife for a long time, and he's got Latina yoga pants and Megan Fox on his brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how I operate on a day-to-day basis, even when I'm with my wife. So
Here's I'm gonna throw a curveball in here. If I ever go, and Billy, don't you interrupt me right now. Don't you dare interrupt me right now.
Boy, if you don't quit yelling at me, I'll hang the phone up.
You were interrupting.
I will hang the phone up on you if you talk like that to me. You might talk to your wife and kids like that. You ain't gonna talk to me like that.
Hey, listen, you're going to get an attitude on the phone because you know I'm so far away from you that you can't slap the taste out of your mouth.
All right, go ahead. I won't interrupt.
If I go to Lake of the Ponds or if I go to Lake Gilmer, I'm stopping at one place and one place only. Go ahead and take it from here, Mr. Lawson.
Bro, that's where I was going. Like, that's what I was saving mine for. Like, I was letting you have Falcon. I was letting Austin do his crawfish deal, and I was going here. Because this may not be Lake Falcon, but the best Mexican food in all of East Texas is in Gilmer, Texas, at a place called La Finca. And just go in there and order the La Finca platter. It's more food than you can probably eat. If it ain't more food than you can eat, it's as much as you need to eat. It will put you in a food coma. I can't tell you how many wrecks I've almost had coming back from Gilmer, Texas, because I'm passing out from eating the La Finca platter. Golly, it's so good, man. Holy cow.
I'm going to give a little hometown shout out to the Blue Store over there because they always got a great burger and great bean, egg, and cheese taquitos.
Okay, Blue Store. Tell us about the Blue Store. What's that? Where is that? What are we talking about?
Blue Store's a little gas station when you're going into the villages at Lake Palestine. It's a gas station. Burgers are.
It's a gas station.
I live in Tyler Black, but back me up. I know you eat there.
I eat there 3 times a week.
Gas station right off of Highway 155 in Noonday, Texas. It's a big blue gas station. It's called the Blue Store. And their breakfast burritos and hamburgers are really good.
I've been going to work in Palestine for 8 months straight, and no, I hate y'all.
At least you know now.
Yeah, I went 155.
Well, you didn't know you was gonna get education.
I am getting education. Education.
You hang around a fat boy like me, you'll get lots of food education.
Hey, Ronnie, that Lake Tyler Marina makes a heck of a burger, too.
Man, I've been eating Lake Tyler Marina since my mom was wiping my ass.
You boy.
With hugging.
That's good, buddy.
Yeah.
Man, you know, I'm racking my brain on some good restaurants. The Oasis at Joe Pool, that's really good.
You know, there's some really good restaurants out there on Caddo Lake too, and I just can't think of the names of them. A couple up on the river.
Yes.
Yeah, man, they're so good. I can't think of the names of them.
Changed owners and stuff.
Down there, it's in Uncertain, Texas. There's a restaurant right there on the river. They got good seafood and stuff.
A Big Pine Lodge.
Big Pine Lodge, that's it right there. Big Pine Lodge out there, and it's just a cool. Like you can eat on the like they've got an upstairs back deck, and it kind of overlooks the river channel there, with all them cypress trees lined up and down it. Man, it's an awesome place to eat. It's a great place. Okay, I think we've about talked enough food.
I said we just talked like 20 minutes about food.
We've been talking about food for a while. This is supposed to be a. But listen, when you're.
Only with Billy Lawson.
No, with his group as a whole.
But listen, man, when you're on the road traveling and fishing different places, food's a big deal.
It is.
You don't want to just eat the same.
And
McDonald's.
I will say, and you probably agree with me. So when traveling and fishing terms and all that, you always make a sandwich to take on the boat.
Yeah.
A sandwich does not taste better anywhere else but on the boat.
That's right.
Am I right or wrong?
That's true.
I don't eat a sandwich on the boat. I'm pretty strict about what I eat on the boat. I only eat Lunchables and Snicker bars.
So
Lunchables and Snicker bars.
So no, I was going to say this to Austin's.
Did you ever have one of those sandwiches that Mrs. Lawson made?
Oh yeah.
So my old lady used to do this thing before I was guiding, when I was tournament fishing and stuff. It'd be like a big deal weekend. She'd make these sandwiches for me, and they'd be on this I don't even know what that bread was. Some type of hoagie bread, but it was like freshly baked, big giant hoagie bread. And she would just put bell peppers and onions and 3 different kinds of meats and tomatoes and all this stuff on there. And she would make sandwiches for me and my partner, whoever else, whether it was Chris or Zach or whoever. And we would have those sandwiches for lunch on the boat. And my goodness, golly, dude, they were so good.
That sounds horrible.
You stop it, Ronnie. You've never had one of these sandwiches. Hey, I will tell you this, Ronnie, to back up Austin, he was talking about the sandwich being the best thing you ever ate in a boat. It's kind of like eating a pack of M&Ms when you're in grade school and in class and you know you're not supposed to be eating in class. It's the best thing you ever ate.
Yep.
No, I get it. For sure.
Same thing with gum. Like,
that's right.
You don't have gum in class, but it tastes better.
That's right.
Yeah,
Or
it's been like
if you
50
had a
years for you,
real
Billy.
job, which I've never had, but if you had like a real job and you're at work and like right in the middle of work they brought you food, I can just imagine.
I've never experienced this.
You can just imagine. He's never had a real job though, folks. Yeah. Never had a real job. Well, Ronnie, man, we're going to let you go. Golly, man, I know we sure appreciate you calling and hanging out with us. Man, when you get back in town, you're definitely going to have to come, dude. You're going to have to be a regular guest on the podcast on Saturday nights when you get home, bud.
I can't think of anything more exciting than clipping my toenails. So
yeah. That sounds about right. Hey, brother, be safe down there. We'll see you when you get home. Thanks a bunch.
All right, y'all have fun. See you guys.
See you, man.
Where do you go from there?
It is hilarious.
Where do you go from there, folks? Austin, Chris? I don't know what there's left to say that Ronnie isn't saying to himself right now. Cause
I just want to know, does he write the jokes down?
No,
I mean, like, how the hell does he come up on the spot?
He does not have an off switch. You know, I've had.
You don't have a filter.
We had Ronnie and one of the film crew guy, like the guy that does a lot of the filming stuff for 6 Cents Fishing over here, and they stayed here one night. And me, him, and Ronnie were going out to shoot some stuff the next day, and man, I can vouch, dude. That cat wakes up at 4:35, 5:30 in the morning every single day. And when he wakes up, just what you heard right there, that's going on at 5 o'clock in the morning. Just rattle, 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 and joke, joke, joke. He is just always on, like he doesn't have an off switch. No off switch in that guy. But he's a good guy, man. And I'm going to tell you, he's a heck of a fisherman. By the way, me and Ronnie, we do run a guide business. You can find our information at yourlakeforkguide.com. My wife's out there yelling at my kids. Uh-oh, I may get called into action here in a minute, boys. Yeah. So, yeah, but yourlakeforkguide.com, you can find information on myself, Ronnie Kelly, or Mike McFarland as well. We got some other guys we work with as well. Basically, if you're looking for a guide trip to Lake Fork or any of the Northeast Texas area, because we got some guys that cover all these different lakes, just contact us at yourlakeforkguide.com. We'll get you set up for your fishing trip needs. I think we had a few leftover questions from the live portion like 18 hours ago when we started this thing. Chris, what we got any questions over there that we didn't answer earlier?
All right, here's one. What baits are you tying on if you were fishing in the morning?
What baits am I going to tie on if I was fishing in the morning? It's still going to be cold tomorrow, right?
Yes.
So if it was going to be cold, it's going to be cold. So I'm going to be tying on a lipless crankbait for sure. That Tiger Truce, orange and chartreuse, lipless crankbait. The Quake 70 from 6 Cents Fishing is the one that's been doing the most damage since it turned cold. That's been our best bait. But I'll tell you another one that I don't fish a lot, but I should, and I know it's catching them when it's cold like this, is the jerkbait, the Provoke jerkbait from 6 Cents. That's a darn good bait to have tied on right now. So I have a trap and a jerkbait tied on. Never leave home without a chatterbait tied on. Black and blue's been my best color, 3/8 ounce. And I'm going to have a Senko tied on. There's been some Senko fish to be caught out there. Even though the water's real cold, they're biting it a little bit. You got to slow down sometimes, especially when the wind's not blowing real hard. You got to slow down. What do you think? I mean, I know you don't fish a lot these days, but you know, you fished your whole life. Like, you know a lot of stuff about fishing. So
that's what I was going to say was the route trap for sure. I fished a tournament a couple weeks ago, actually, with my father.
Wait a minute, you still fish?
Yeah, I still fish. Like first time forever. And it was really, really cold. I mean, it was 30 degrees that morning, and I caught him on a small Carolina rig fluke, like the chicken shit rig. Had a little split shot about 2 foot up the line. Mm-hmm. And with a watermelon red fluke, and dipped the tail, and that's how we caught probably 20, 30 fish on that.
Nice.
Couple 4-pounders actually.
Too. It was cold then?
It was really cold.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's a great technique, the old finesse Carolina rig, or that's the chicken shit rig. We like to call it that because it's like a sea rig, but just a chicken shit version of it.
Especially for people that don't have like patience for, you know, if you can throw it in you can throw in like 15 foot of water or something like that. And so, I mean, especially when throwing a big Carolina rig, you know, you need more action. Yeah. So you can't have that big weight. And so like my dad, he was throwing one too, but he had a bigger one. He had a 1/2 ounce and 20-pound test. I had 12-pound test, and I had a 16th ounce weight, and I caught probably 2 to 1, 3 to 1 fish than he did. So that's a big deal too, is your line size, and I'm a little bit slower fisherman than he is too, and I think that helped me out a lot.
It's not often that the son fishes slower than the dad, but that's definitely the case with you and your dad.
Yeah, and that's what makes us a good team too, is that I'm more of a finesse fisherman and he's more of a power fisherman, and so. You know, I'll do stuff one way and he'll do stuff complete opposite way, and one of us is going to catch him.
All right. Well, Chris, if you would type that in so that guy gets that kind of in a more real-time response or whatever, that'd be great. Trapping a jerkbait. Is there any more questions over there, Chris?
We've got another one here that says, are the boat lanes still accurately marked on Lake Fork?
For the most,
depends on what chip, I guess, too.
No, he's talking about the buoys, the bowling
okay,
buoys.
the
This is what
buoys,
I'm assuming he's talking about, the actual buoys that are on the lake. For the most part, yes, but there are some. Like, the only thing that I know to tell you is if it looks like it's like if you've got buoy, like if you got buoy in line, and you got one over here and you got one past it that's in line with the rest of these. Don't pay attention to this one, because there is a few instances of that. Like, I know going up to Running Creek, there's one that's like, it's not on. Like, don't run by, like, especially if you run on the inboard side of that one, but, like, you can get in a bind on that one there. So there are some that are not 100% accurate that have lifted and drifted, you might say, with some of the wind and waves. But for the most part, the buoys are really accurate, especially with the lake being full right now. Man, you can kind of get away with a lot of stuff. So I don't think there's any issues running any of the buoys right now, honestly.
So what would you say, probably about 2 foot low is where you really need to be, at 2.5 foot is kind of where...
I would say if it starts getting low at all, you got to worry about the ones that are kind of out of line.
Right.
Now, as far as the buoys, that are in line, when you get to like 4 and 5 foot low, man, there's like up at the north end of Birch, when you get about 5 foot low, those last couple of buoys, there's some stumps that start popping up around them. Right. One in particular that I know between the last couple of buoys in the Birch Creek lane that will get you, and then there's one out there at the mouth of the Birch Creek lane that's not very far off of it when the lake's about 3 to 4 foot low. So when the lake starts getting about 4 foot low, you need to be real tight to them buoys, and if it's a marked lane that's running up into a creek, you might even not run that unless you know what you're doing. Like, it can be sketchy when the lake starts getting low. Right now, fortunately, we're slat full. I can't really see a situation where we're not going to be full for a pretty good long time. But yeah.
Yeah, the one that always stuck out in my mind was the Birch Creek lane. When you can see the power lines, you better start being real cognizant of what's going on.
If the lake's low. Right now, you can run all the way to the power lines and you're fine, yeah.
But, yeah.
Yep, you're right. You're right there. There's no doubt about it.
And even then, I remember when I was last year, I think, I ran the power line. It was pretty low. I ran the power lines all the way to the right. And then even then, I still ran a little bit, back towards the creek.
Right.
And I hit one time. I was only doing about 20 miles an hour, but I hit one just thinking, I've done this, ran this a million times too. So I have to definitely be careful on the power lines and over there towards.
Think about it on Fork, man. In any of these East Texas lakes that got all this timber, man, there's just never any guarantee. Make sure you got good insurance on your boat and stay close to them buoys. And
wear your life jacket.
Wear your life jacket. Kill switch, because you just never know. And also, especially in spring, big winds, big rains a lot of time, and this time of year that we will get coming up here over the next few months. Man, there's floaters that pop up that you don't see. Like, it is an accepted risk when you get on these lakes full of timber. Like, you just gotta understand that it is possible. It's not anything to freak out or worry about. These boats, especially these newer boats, are built really well. Are you gonna do some damage and have an insurance claim? Yeah, absolutely you are. But you're not gonna die. You're not even gonna really likely get hurt even when you hit one if you're taking care of business.
Yeah.
So that's the only. Was that all the questions we had? Okay, let's go further. All right, cool. Well, Fowler, anything else you want to talk about tonight before we wrap this thing up?
Man, it's a good first show.
I hope so. I think it was. I mean, I know I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I just looked at my phone and it was like, holy crap, it's 9:30. Like, we
talked a long time. We did. It went long, and that's okay. I don't mind it going long because and that's what this deal is. That's what this deal is going to be for you guys that are following along on the podcast on iTunes, or if you're watching us on YouTube. It's going to be guys that have fished a bunch, that are really passionate about it, sitting around telling real stories, giving you real talk. And there's going to be a lot of joking around, cutting up, a little bit of beer drinking going on.
A lot of fun.
We're going to have a lot of fun making this, and we just hope that you guys are enjoying it about half as much as we are. That's
and everything is real on the spot. I asked you 10 minutes for the show, hey, what are we talking about when we playing? You said, we're talking fishing.
Yeah,
it's just gonna be real.
We got a couple topics.
I was like, okay.
And that was it. I had a couple topics that I wanted to hit, and I said, man, I'll hit some topics.
You didn't plan all this.
No, I said I'll lead you into some topics, and you just answer, and that's all it was, man. There was no rehearsal, and that's how it will continue to be. Which is kind of everything that I do on this channel. There's no, and you've kind of seen a lot of it from some of the earlier beginning days. There's a lot of real stuff here.
I'm thinking it's been too long since me and you fished together.
I
And
think
now that we're neighbors,
definitely
coming in the spring.
anytime, and you know that anytime. You know what? We didn't tell the story earlier, but we do need to tell because you can verify. You were my witness. We need to tell the story about the first that you know what I'm talking about back there. What you referred to earlier about the lady catching the big fish for me when you were there.
Oh yes, the first time we really. That's really when we became friends, I guess.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep.
Yep. You want to do karate in the garage? Yep. Yeah, it was kind of one of those moments for me and Fowler. But no, I had just worked my last day at my salaried manager position, stable,
Good
health
job.
insurance, benefits ridden, great job for a guy raising a family. I just left that to try and fish for a living. Literally, like
12 hours.
10 hours before this happens. And you know, as anybody would be, I was nervous, and I felt really confident about the decision I was making, but at the same time I didn't know what I was going into getting close to the summer and wasn't sure how well this was going to go, and thought maybe that first year I might go into debt or something. I didn't know. But it was something I thought about and prayed about a lot and everything. And I still just wasn't, there's just doubt. There's always doubt in that situation because there's so much riding on it. It's such a risk. And I pulled into that pocket that you were in that morning, and we were both fishing it. And we had seen each other in there before that spring. We'd both been fishing it for a while. But I pulled in there, and I had a husband and a wife, and they're still customers to this day, of course. I'm
Really?
proud to say.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Still take trips with them every year. But we pulled in there, and we were fishing around, and we caught a couple fish, and I had the husband was wanting to learn about frog fishing, and we were catching a couple on frogs. But I kind of experimentally, as he was fishing a frog, I picked up a whopper plopper, and it didn't take long. I had a couple waking behind that whopper plopper, and they'd been biting a whopper plopper in there. But I had a couple waking behind that whopper plopper, like chasing it down. I was like pulling it away from them because I didn't want to catch them in front of my customer. And so I turned around to that woman, and I said, "Hey, if you want to throw this whopper plopper, I think they're going to bite it pretty good."
And whopper plopper's pretty new, then, wasn't it?
It was a couple years. It wasn't brand new. Like the word was out on it, but yeah, it was.
Years?
Since that's a whole other story. Yeah, it had actually. I had it for a couple years, but the year before was when Chris Lane made it real popular on Toledo Bend.
That's
was the very year before this. Yeah. So, anyways, I handed her that white plopper, and I was like, "It's real simple. You just throw it out there, reel it in. They bite it. You just keep reeling."
The small one, wasn't it?
No, it was the big one.
It was
the big one. And the medium-sized one.
Yeah.
There's most people don't even realize there's a giant one that most people never even see. But this was not the normal, like the little one that everybody kind of throws. It was the next. It's the 130 is the one it was.
Yeah.
And so I tied it on, and man, she goes to throwing it, and she's throwing it, and she had a couple blow up on it, but not get it with all them treble hooks. And then she had a fish blow up on it about 15 to 20 feet from the boat. This fish was foul hooked in the top of the head. We didn't know at the time, but foul hooked in the top of the head, which if you don't know, makes a fish a whole lot stronger. When they can close their mouth, they can run. On top of that, this was a giant fish.
It was a giant blow up. I mean, I'm on the other side of this pocket.
You heard it,
and
so
I heard
it
it.
was crazy.
My clients heard it, and we were all looking at it.
And I've got this thing rigged up on a giant rod with a 65-pound braid to make it easy on her to throw that big, heavy whopper plopper. So there's no give in this setup. The drag's all the way down. And so she's sitting here with braid, big rod, and a 10-pound fish on the end of the pole, foul hook, 15 foot from the boat, never touching the reel handle, just like holding onto the rod for dear life. And the fish is doing this on the surface, and there's water flying everywhere. I mean, things are just as chaotic as they get in a bass boat. And I've got the net, and I'm just praying I can scoop it on one of these drive-bys.
Y'all should have seen Billy. I think he was freaking out more than she was.
The fish kept doing this.
Yep.
And I was trying to get it with the net, and I couldn't get it because it kept going outside of my net where I could reach it. Finally, she brings it up. I scoop it in, and I get it in the bottom boat. I didn't realize how big it was at the time. I set it down. It was a really fat, huge fish, and I was like, "Man, that's a giant." She's like jumping.
She screams,
screaming and jumping up and down on the back deck of the boat. And I picked that fish. I'm like, "Dang, that fish is heavy." And I'm thinking it's a like 8-9 pound fish. Well,
your adrenaline's going and everything like that too.
But as I picked it up, I was like, "Man, that fish weighs a lot. Like it's just one of them fish that's built. It's heavy." So we picked it up, and I put it on my scales, and it read 10 pounds, 4 ounces. And I asked her, because these fish were definitely post-spawn. They've been spawning
Yep.
since February in this cove, and this was May.
It's May. It's
They were
mid-May.
definitely post-spawn. This fish was fat again just from eating. And I asked her, I said, do you want to get a certified weight on this? Because it was, she never caught anything that
Fish
big.
of a lifetime.
And so we put that fish in the live well and took it to Lake Fort Marina to get an official weight.
But first, you came over to me, and I was like, that's a huge failure, congratulations. And he asked to borrow my weigh bag.
Your weigh bag, because I didn't have a weigh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a weighing bag in the boat, and I needed to carry this fish from my boat to the Lake Fort Marina scales and some water. So I did. I came over to Fowler and I asked him if I could borrow his weigh bag. I do remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
And so I got his weigh bag, and we put the fish in the live well. And we start heading back, and we're going to get an official weight on it. And it was just one of those moments, man. It was a special moment as I was heading in from the back of that pocket, heading back to Lake Fort Marina, which it's a little bit of a drive from there. And man, I can't lie about it. I don't ever lie on this channel. I always tell the truth. But dude, I had tears in my eyes because it was just that moment of, I was worried and wondering about this deal.
Can you do it?
The very first morning as a full-time guy to have a woman catch a 10 1/4 pound bass. A woman catch a woman hadn't caught a giant bass like that ever, never done anything like that. Catch a 10 1/4 pound bass with me. Now she handled a bait catcher, she could fish, but not taking any credit. She landed it, she did great, but to have a woman catch that special of a fish on your very first trip as a full-time guy that first morning, it was just a moment of like, I know we've cursed a little bit here tonight and everything, but I do believe in God, and I am, of Christian faith, and it was definitely a moment where I felt like God was just kind of like with me saying, you're going to be just fine, son.
Yeah.
You're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And I did. I had tears in my eyes going back to Marina. We got it back there, and on their official scales, it weighed 10.30 pounds. And a part of the story that people don't know, and that you don't know, that nobody knows, there's no way for them to know, there's no evidence of it, but she actually had 2 more fish that she hooked up on that day on the Whopper Plopper that got off that were over 8 pounds.
After or before that?
After we went back out.
Y'all came back and in the same pocket. Y'all came back and released her.
Fished a little bit there. Then went and fished some other pockets.
Okay.
One of the other pockets we went to, she got 2 bites that were both over 8 pounds that she hooked up on and lost. So we had we had like a 30 pound bag that day. Like he caught some good fish on the frog and all that. But if she would have caught them 2 8-pounders, we'd have been in the mid to upper 30s on our bag. On my first day as a full-time guide.
Yeah.
Some things are just meant to be. And I have no doubt that I'm living the life that I'm supposed to live. So
Absolutely.
it's cool, man. It's really cool. I think we've about talked all we need to talk tonight. We've probably talked these people's ear off. I hope you had a long drive if you're listening to the podcast on iTunes, because we certainly talked you through a lot of it, and we hope you enjoyed it. We sure appreciate you joining the very first podcast, number 1 of the Fish Life podcast. Austin, man, golly, dude, thank you.
I appreciate it, man.
For coming over all the way from that long drive you made from next door.
That long walk.
That long walk from next door to hang out with us, Mr. Chris Blackman over here on the 1s and 2s, running the show, making things happen for us. Really appreciate you as well, bud. And most of all, more than anybody else, we appreciate all of you guys watching, all of you guys listening here. Couldn't do all this stuff without y'all. Y'all are the best, man. Y'all make this thing tick for me on a day-to-day basis. And I really appreciate it. That being said, check out my people at sixcentfishing.com. They'll be linked in the description of the YouTube video. When you go to sixcentfishing.com, if you make an order, be sure you punch in the code Your Lake Fort Guide, all one word, all lowercase. They'll have a little promo box on the checkout screen. You punch that in there, you'll get a 10% discount on all orders, including apparel, rods, whatever you want to order from there. You get a 10% discount on all orders. Check them out. SmashTechBase.com is linked below as well. They got some phenomenal custom hand-pour type plastic baits that are just out of this world. Impact Lures. We fish the Impact Shad a lot. That's another sponsor of ours that takes good care of us. That is a deadly little bait. There's no doubt about that. So help us support those that support us to help us bring all this content to you guys. We really appreciate that. That being said, I think that's going to be the end of it. CB, you got anything you want to throw in there?
Give me another beer.
Give me another beer.
Thanks and giggle.
Thanks and giggle. We'll see you next time here at Fish Life, and we'll send it out with a big old one of these right here. There you go, boys.
Thanks, man.